this way.
All you have to do is follow three simple rules.
Here we go.
1, never underestimate your opponent. Expect the unexpected. 2, take it outside. Never start anything inside the bar unless it's absolutely necessary. And 3, be nice.
Come on.
If somebody gets in your face and calls you a I want you to be nice.
Okay.
Ask him to walk, but be nice. If he won't walk, walk him, but be nice. If you can't walk him, one of the others will help you, and you'll both be nice.
That's the rule, folks, right there. And then does he say, what if someone calls my mama a whore? Right
It should be right at that. But what if someone calls my mama a whore?
All right, well, anyway. We don't have time. We got to get into some stories here. Whitney Enriquez says that her faith in humanity has been called into question since her sister Amber Heard lost to Johnny Depp in court this summer. She wrote on Instagram, not only did it highlight some pretty effing major flaws in the judicial system, it also showed how deeply misogynistic this world is and how harassment of anyone who speaks out or has a differing opinion is just simply accepted. And she said, it's a world that I'm scared to raise my kids in. And every day it just seems harder and harder to navigate and deal with. She added that seeing the open letter published Wednesday in support of Heard, which we reported on yesterday, said was a much needed breath of fresh air. So more comments coming in about that. Is that, that court case?
It never seems to stop.
It wrapped up a while back.
Yeah.
Speaking of wrapping up, Ellen Pompeo penned a heartfelt note to fans prior to her last episode of Grey's Anatomy on Thursday. The actress wrote on Instagram, I am eternally grateful and humbled by the love and support that you've all shown me, Meredith Grey and the show for 19 seasons. Through it all, none of it would have been possible without the best fans in the world. You are the riders, and you all have made the ride so fun and iconic.
Wow.
She didn't have that.
No?
I love you madly and appreciate you right back. This isn't
Smoochies.
your first time on the roller coaster. You know the show must go on, and I'll definitely be back to visit.
Oh, this picture's filtered up like crazy, Kathy. Have you?
Is it? Or it always is. But
I don't think anyone does any pictures these days on Instagram without.
I do.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't.
I mean, anyone who has to rely on their looks at any level. Fortunately, that bus left the station for me a long time ago.
Pompeo, who has been with the long-running ABC show since 2005, is also an executive producer on the series, of course. So Chris Hemsworth discovered that he is at increased risk for Alzheimer's while filming a National Geographic series called Limitless. Apparently, we have, while having blood work done for the show's 5th episode, the Marvel star discovered he had 2 copies of what is called APOE4 gene, something that can increase your odds of developing Alzheimer's disease 8 to 12-fold, according to the Mayo Clinic. He told Variety, most of us, we like to avoid speaking about death in the hope that we'll somehow avoid it. We all have this belief that we'll figure it out. Then to all of a sudden be told some big indicators are actually pointing to this as the route which is going to happen, the reality of it sinks in. I explained that he kept it in the show as a motivator to take better care of themselves and to understand that there are steps that you can take. Although his revelation will appear in the series, the star hasn't talked to his kids about it yet. He said, I don't think they could have grasped the concept or had the understanding, so no, it's not like I've been handed my resignation and this is what it is, and it's up to a few months. It's not quite that situation, thankfully. One day I'm sure that I'll bring it up. They probably want to test themselves and find out, are you in the category that's going to be sensitive to this or not? So it's interesting because I was reading further about it last night that a lot of people doctors usually don't give this test to people because it can just lead to some undue worrying that might really bother you. Just simply because you have these markers doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to end up with this.
But if you could institute some things, which apparently is what he's going to do, that will help reduce the likelihood, go the other way. Mm-hmm. I think he's happy to be able to do that.
His grandfather has Alzheimer's.
Yes.
And he was commenting about that and how difficult that is to see. But, so this doesn't necessarily guarantee, but he's got it on both sides, his mother's side and his father's side. So it can increase the likelihood But this is streaming now on Disney Plus if you do want to see that. I thought this was nice. This past week, members of the United States men's national soccer team were surprised with hometown motivation from AFC Richmond's very own Ted Lasso.
All right.
In preparation for the World Cup, which begins on November 20th in Qatar, the fictional coach had personalized messages put on billboards, which included wholesome love and motivation sent to each player of the team. Now, each letter from Ted Lasso has a personal touch, including how they got into the sport, how it impacts their hometown, and how excited he is to see their success on the pitch. The yellow background and blue writing on each billboard matches the famous Believe sign that hung in the AFC Richmond clubhouse. One of these signs popped up in Medford, New Jersey, home of Brendan Aronson, the USMNT midfielder currently plays for Leeds United after starting his senior career playing for Bethlehem Steel and the Philadelphia Union after coming up through the Union Academy. In an interview with The Inquirer, Brendan's father, Rusty, said, "I've used the word surreal too many times, so I can't use it again, but it is." The sign, which hangs on the side of Kirby's Mill, by the way. It's on the side of a barn, okay? It says, Brendan, it makes sense that you were raised. This is a really lengthy.
It is a lengthy billboard.
Yeah, Brendan, it makes sense that you were raised in Medford, whose tagline is historic in nature, because that's how I describe the way you play the game. Heck, folks folks are even calling you the American boy. And I know how tough it can be as an American overseas. A cookie's a biscuit, chips or fries, pants or underwear, and don't even get me started on fanny pack. But what remains the same, no matter the side of the pond you're on, is that you were born to be on the USMNT. You were born to play in the games of all games. And you were barn to go all the way. This billboard's on a barn, right? Because if not, this joke isn't going to make any sense. For another American boy, Ted Lasso. So I thought that was really cool.
It's pretty extensive, yeah.
Yep.
They call underwear pants in
I didn't know that.
Me neither.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, you call underpants.
Yeah.
So,
But I say underpants, not pants.
yeah.
Oh,
But I think maybe anyway.
all right. That's awesome.
So, yeah. And a fanny, by the way, is actually a vagina.
Yes, that I did know. So when is Ted Lasso premiering, the new season?
I don't know.
Well, I'm very eager for that. We all
me too.
are.
Yeah, because it's only going to be one more.
That's right.
From what I understand.
That's what they're saying. I'm not so sure.
All right, we got some baby news here. Kate Mara is a mom of two now. The 39-year-old actress took to Instagram on Thursday to announce that she's given birth to her and her husband, Jamie Bell's second child, a baby boy. Mara and Bell are already parents to a daughter, whom they welcomed back in 2019. Bell also shares a 9-year-old son, Jack, with his ex, Evan Rachel Wood. Mara captioned a sweet shot of the newborn's feet and said, "Had a baby a week ago, here are his feet."
Baby feet are pretty useless, aren't they?
The pic and caption mirror the way she announced the arrival of her first bundle of joy in 2019. On that one, she wrote, "We had a baby a couple of weeks ago, here are her feet."
Now leave me alone.
So the couple
Go to hell.
first met on the set of 2015's Fantastic Four. They got engaged in 2017 and tied a knot later on that year. So 2 babies for them.
That was just on the other night. I took a chance and said, let me revisit this Fantastic Four. And I was surprised to learn that it was still as horrible as it was the first time. It's really bad.
I don't think I ever watched it.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah. Let's see. Another baby story. Wait a minute.
Wait, what?
We have more baby stories?
I think, yeah,
Is this the nursery?
No, hang on a second. I thought I had I know I have another one, but I thought I had one on top of this one that I was going to mention. Well, anyway, it doesn't matter. Heidi Montag and Spencer Pratt.
Two legends. If you're going to talk about a Hollywood power couple.
Well, they welcomed their second baby boy.
Oh, that's great.
The Hills alum said on Snapchat, "I was screaming in the hospital. It was 45 minutes later I delivered him. So I'm really glad we came to the hospital."
Are they still doing Othello at the Globe Theater in London?
It was about an hour and 15-minute delivery total.
Wow.
The new baby, yeah, that's not bad at all,
That's
man.
great.
Yeah.
It's basically a fart.
They were born at 1:31 a.m., 7 pounds, 9 ounces, by the way.
You had that story a little while back with Heidi, and I don't know these people. I don't watch the show.
No,
You know, I
never
just
saw it.
know.
Good for you.
I know. So I didn't really care for them before, but You had that story about their encounter with Phoebe from Friends.
Right,
Oh,
yes.
And how nasty she was. And I was like, it gave me a lot of sympathy for them. You know, so do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
these
When
people are
Phoebe
just,
craps on you, it kind of brings us all together.
they're trying to, blend and live and thrive in Hollywood. And you go to a party and these people treat you like less than, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you poor people. Because
wasn't
I
a
don't
nice
really know
moment.
them.
No, and you don't even know how it played out. But
No.
At least the way the story was told to us, I could see that. Makes them a little bit more sympathetic.
You're a sympathetic kind of guy?
I am.
Yeah. I am.
You stand up for the little guy who gets crapped on by cast members from Friends.
I've done that before.
Yeah.
Tim Allen visited his friend Jay Leno at the Grossman Burn Center on Thursday. The Santa Claus star said that Leno is feeling better after, of course, suffering those deep burns to his face, hands, and chest. He told TMZ that he brought the Tonight Show star some car magazines to peruse as he recovers.
They're both car dudes, and Leno went over to Tim Allen's hangar, basically, of all his collectible autos. Extensive, wild stuff. I mean, Leno's is huge, but Tim Allen's is enormous as well.
Ramona Agruma recently said that it was a little bit scary to start a relationship with her famous girlfriend, Rebel Wilson. The self-proclaimed homebody said that it was shocking at the beginning and hard because I'm not used to so much attention. The Lemon v. Lemon founder
I have no idea.
added that all the attention was a little bit scary in the beginning, but we still try to keep their lives private, she said.
If Rebel Wilson looks nothing like, I mean, obviously the weight loss is a large contributing factor to that, but even facially, I'd be hard pressed to identify her as Rebel Wilson.
Yeah, it's when you're used to seeing when she debuted as a larger gal and has since lost the weight. Yeah, the facial features absolutely look different when you lose a whole lot of weight, especially if you know that person only
For that
has
from one way.
size. But yeah, absolutely, it can look totally different.
But no Pooch Perfect, no mention of that, Preston?
No, there was no Pooch
Because
Perfect.
what a show. What a show.
Yep. Ryan Seacrest will indeed host his 18th Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve. Deadline reports that he will be joined by returning co-hosts, is it Liza Koshy?
Yeah, let's go with that.
And Jesse James Decker in Times Square.
Do you, if you're home on New Year's, what do you put on? Do you put on Rockin' Eve?
I put on that about 2 minutes before midnight.
Yeah.
And I watched Countdown and night, everybody.
Well, also the predominant bit of that show was pre-recorded. So it's not like...
Really?
Yeah, there are a lot of concerts and things that they cut through that were recorded before.
I don't watch any of that stuff.
I don't.
No.
You know which one I watched last year was the Miley Cyrus, Pete Davidson one.
How was that?
It was actually really good.
Really?
It was entertaining. Steve, it was kinetic. It kept moving forward the whole time.
Maybe you should do that again.
I got bored by Ryan Seacrest and I don't know.
About 10:30, I've had my share of monkey bread and I go to sleep.
I've seen the ball drop enough times. I don't need to do that anymore.
I wanted to, as I've said before, make it drop.
Yeah.
Make that mother effort. Don't make it slide
Maybe
down.
drop it like Indiana Jones style.
Into the crowd.
And they have to run away.
I have this year on New Year's Eve. The one thing that I am kind of looking forward to, because I've like New Year's Eve is it sailed a long time ago.
Yeah.
For me, it's not a big deal. It's just another night for me. However, last year on New Year's Eve, I did start my 1 second video every day project. So I will be screening that on New Year's Eve. Yeah, because it'll be officially it'll be a 1 second video.
Have you missed any days?
Yeah, here and there.
How many would you say?
Accidentally, but I'll 5 or 6.
That's nothing.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Yeah, here and there. But for the most part, I try to, even if it's like I'm laying in bed and I'm like, oh my God, I forgot to do it today.
Yeah.
I'll just I'll look at myself. This is my 1 second video of the day. That's it. Not exciting, but it gets it done.
Have you started editing it already?
Oh yeah, you edit it as you go along.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like a month behind on that, but it's easy to knock that out. You can do it in a couple of minutes. All right. So what else did I want to mention to you guys? Quentin Tarantino. Recent episode of his and Roger Avery's The Video Archives podcast, in which they discussed the 1983 film Star 80. Quentin took time to not only bash the 1980s and 1950s in terms of cinematic output, but also the current era. He said, even though the 80s was the time that I probably saw more movies in my life than ever, at least as far as going out to the movies was concerned. I do feel that 80s cinema is, along with the 1950s, the worst era in Hollywood history, matched only by the current era. He said the current era, of course, is a host of a wave of superhero movies, which Tarantino has gone on to record as saying any any hired hand could direct. Still, Tarantino does say that spans with so much garbage do give an edge to the ones that don't conform, the ones that don't stand out from the pack. Naturally, Quentin Tarantino doesn't hate every movie that's out, and so a few will fall under the blanket of standing out. For example, he loved both Top Gun Maverick and Steven Spielberg's West Side Story, saying they provided a true cinematic spectacle, the kind that I'd almost thought that I wasn't going to see anymore. He said it was fantastic. He also enjoyed some recent horror, like the movie Crawl, and he also liked Dr. Sleep. As far as his favorite decades, surely the 1970s is at the top. For his 2012 top 10 list, for Sight and Sound, Tarantino named 8 films from the 1970s.
I love, obviously, he's an accomplished, award-winning director himself, but to hear him talk about the movies he loves is great, and the way he dissects them with his directorial eye makes it that much more interesting.
I would counter that argument by saying there's never been a better time for television. You know, the amount of great TV that's on there right now is it's remarkable, and it's a different way to consume entertainment. But there are so many, and we've talked about this a million times, so there are so many good TV shows, you can't watch all of them.
Yep.
You know, and so, like, maybe there's a lack of great movies in the theaters, but there's so much that you can watch at home that's really amazing.
Yep. Speaking of casting in movies, Steven Spielberg has cast Bradley Cooper as Frank Bullitt for his upcoming original film, Bullitt. Cooper has officially closed a deal to play the classic character who was famously portrayed by Steve McQueen in the original 1968 thriller. Spielberg is developing a new version of the film centered on the famous San Francisco cop, but made it clear it's not a reboot of the original film.
Interesting.
Rather, an entirely new story.
I love the original movie. He's one of the classic anti-heroes. It, of course, has one of the great car chases of all time in movie history.
Cooper is also set to co-produce the film alongside Spielberg. And Steve McQueen's son, Chad McQueen, and granddaughter, Molly McQueen, will executive produce the movie. The decision to cast Bradley was not a sudden one. Cooper and Spielberg have been discussing Bullitt since the pandemic began, talking about the character and how to put a fresh spin on the story. Cooper and Spielberg have been trying to collaborate on a project for years as Spielberg came close to directing American Sniper, which, of course, Bradley Cooper was in, but that was handed over to Clint Eastwood.
I think car chases are kind of like my least favorite action scene.
Really?
I think
depends on how they're done.
Yeah, I feel like I'm just over it at this point. It's
yeah. I mean, I hear you. There's just the way they can do it, the way they can fake it. At this time, though, the Bullitt car chase was amazing.
You see the new Black Panther case?
I did.
There's a pretty good car chase in that when it's like sort of the opposite.
That's where I was watching it, and I was like, I'm so over this
All right.
stuff. Yeah,
yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was well done, and it was sort of the opposite of the one that they had in the first Black Panther movie.
Cooper is currently producing Maestro, which he also co-wrote, directed, produced, and starred in. He plays the lead alongside Carey Mulligan, and that film is set to be released on Netflix in 2020.
That's where he's playing Leonard Bernstein, right?
Correct. All right, here we go with new movies opening this weekend. All right, The Menu is opening this weekend, and it stars Anya Taylor-Joy, Ray Fiennes, Nicholas Hoult, and a couple travels to a coastal island to eat at an exclusive restaurant where the chef has prepared a lavish menu with some shocking surprises. It's an hour and 46 minutes long. It's rated R, wide release theaters, and Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 91%.
Not bad.
Which is cool because I'm like, okay, I saw the trailer. I'm like, this could be really good or dumb.
Yeah.
And it looks like the scores are coming back that it might be really, really good. So that's cool. Number 2, this looks interesting. Bones and All. It's a mystery thriller starring Taylor Russell, Timothy Chalamet, Michael Stuhlbarg. A story of first love between Marin, a young woman learning how to survive on the margins of society, and Lee, an intense and disenfranchised drifter. A liberating road odyssey of two young people coming together in their own, searching for identity and chasing beauty in a perilous world that cannot abide who they are. It's 2 hours, 10 minutes long. It is rated R, and wide release in theaters, and Rotten Tomatoes score gives it 89%. It looks like they're cannibals. Is that the one?
So is the menu about cannibals as well?
Don't know yet. That they're kind of keeping a bit of a mystery, but this shows her
cannibals.
This kind of shows her like biting people.
Yeah.
And, so it looks like they.
What if we had a really good cannibal double feature in the theaters?
They struggle because they can't be accepted. They are coming to terms with who they are, meaning they have to eat other people.
And then they meet Armie Hammer, and everything's all right. Yeah.
What it looks like to me. All right, and then finally, She Said also opens. It's drama starring Carey Mulligan, Zoe Kazan, and Patricia Clarkson. Two story of two New York Times reporters. Megan Toohey, and wait, we know Megan Toohey.
Yeah. Should be true story.
And Jodie Cantor, who together broke one of the most important stories in a generation, a story that helped propel the Me Too movement, shattered decades of silence around the subject of sexual assault in Hollywood, and altered American culture forever. It is 2 hours, 15 minutes long, rated R, wide release in theaters. 86% Rotten Tomatoes.
Everything's above 85% this time.
Good scores throughout the list there. All right, we're ready for clips now. The menu features a lavish tasting menu with a side of shocking surprise. And here Ray Fiennes talks about why he related to his character.
I can see he's complicated about having had success and then sort of feeling he's sold out. And I sort of have a window on that, what that might feel like a bit. You know, you start off with purest intentions, and then the light is shone on you a bit, and suddenly, you know, are you somehow devaluing what you've set out to do?
I'm gonna eat, goddammit.
The menu is out in theaters today. Here's our next clip. New York Times reporters break story that helped launch the Me Too movement and shatter decades of silence since She Said. In this clip, director Maria Schrader explains how the movie came to be made.
It impacted me and led to enormous discussions, and people call it a cultural shift. And so we were all very aware of the story. What we were not aware about is how that story came along, and who were these people, and how did they start to investigate it.
She Said is out in theaters today, and there you go. That's the last story in the Entertainment Report this morning.
Here we go.
All right, we're done with that. We have a Friday laid out before us. We have some guests that are going to be joining us on the program. John O'Hurley is going to be stopping by today. The National Dog Show is in town this weekend, and he is a big part of that, so he's stopping by today. And we have comedian Ian Fidance who's going to be here. Ian is performing at Punchline, so we'll talk to Ian in the 8 o'clock hour. Let's take a break, come back in just a second, and we'll move forward on a Friday morning into your weekend. Stay with us.
Preston and Steve
on 93.3 WMMR.
Plant-based chicken nuggets.
I've had them.
Yeah. Oh, wait, you have? Because so have I, and they were the most disgusting things I've ever eaten in my life.
Well, then I've had different. So Hip City Veg has the best chicken nuggets I've ever tasted, and there's no chicken.
Okay, so this was sort of like, it looked like it was dark meat, but it wasn't meat. It was plant-based, and it had like a breading around it. It looked really good, and I was like, oh, I'll try this.
Right. Not good.
I was like, what is this? What is this texture? What am I eating?
So they use
plant or
seitan.
not?
I guess it is seitan, right? The often used for chicken substitute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, and the Satan actually cooks them.
Wait till you try this.
But they're Casey. They're excellent. We actually put them out at a party.
Yeah.
And people had no idea.
So we have a vegetarian living in my house. My oldest is now a vegetarian, more pescatarian, but we have a lot of Impossible meat in our house now.
Right.
And we do the Impossible ground beef a lot, and it's damn good. You know,
I love it.
Yeah, my wife will make.
And Preston's right in the. It's not exactly But the taste, I like.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
good.
the Impossible taste.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily taste exactly like beef or pork or whatever it is they're trying to simulate, but whatever it tastes like tastes good to me.
Yeah, and when you're making things like nachos, like my wife will make nachos for the household, and she'll crumple up the Impossible burger meat or whatever on there. You can't tell the difference.
Dude.
Not when it's got the cheese and the salsa and everything else with it.
I'm telling you, that Impossible cheesesteak from Wilson's,
Unbelievable,
was fantastic.
Unbelievable.
I couldn't stop eating it. It was excellent.
Get me the biggest cheesesteak fan in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Sit them down and give them one of those.
And don't say, all right, tell me if this tastes like meat.
Right.
Just say, eat this, and does it taste good?
Yeah.
That's the difference. So somebody who is a hardcore meat eater might say this ain't no meat or whatever. No, just set that aside. Does it taste good or not? Okay, and because that cheesesteak at Wilson's Secret Sauce is fantastic.
And what was the ingredient?
Loved it.
Was it seitan?
No,
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't
think
know.
he uses Beyond or Impossible.
I'm not sure exactly what he uses.
I
You'd
think
have
it's
to ask him.
impossible.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at what I had, and this restaurant changed, right? It was one healthier restaurant to the next, and they had chicken on it, and so they were called chicken. They were called chicken strips. Well, now they're just called strips, and so I ordered that thinking I was getting the chicken, and then realized, but it says plant-based, so it's a plant-based strip. It doesn't say exactly what's in it, but I'm assuming it's similar to what you're
I
talking
want
about.
plant-based strips, Mommy.
So
want that.
Impossible Foods is describing this as having a golden, crispy breadcrumb. Oh my God! I can't believe I said that.
That's all right.
Yeah, I'm interested in your chicken strips.
Stop it.
What's that special ingredient again?
Breadcrumb.
Do you guys buy that? Because I just made some.
It's great.
Here's audio of the chef, Preston.
You're gonna be my regular size thing, baby.
Wait.
Oh yeah.
I think I liked your reaction more than the actual flub itself. You're like, I just can't believe you just said that.
All right, having golden, crispy breadcrumb coating
You're working in the kitchen today. Where's something low cut?
and a juicy and springy white meat texture. How was your weekend, Jackie Bam Bam?
Oh, good. How was yours, Press?
Very relaxing.
Right.
How about you? Did you relax?
I heard you tried on some jeans. I was getting worried about my leather pants and my roostered hair for the MMRBQ, more importantly.
Do you ever wear shorts?
Nah, but I do shave my legs if you need to know.
Okay.
But wait,
No doubt. No doubt.
Why? Why do you shave your legs if you're not wearing shorts?
No offense to Steve, but I think the hair should be on the head, nowhere else.
Okay.
You know.
So you shave everywhere?
Everywhere, yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Armpits?
I've been trying to do a contest or a little promo with Casey Boy, but it's just not happening. Sales department. I want to shave Casey Boy.
I don't want to do that.
Why?
Because I don't want to.
You should come get laser hair with me.
Oh, you get your bead
Remove it
laser.
permanently?
Yeah.
I follow you on social media. I'm like, where does she get this done at? I could do that.
Oh, come with me.
I will.
All right.
Do you shave your armpits?
Cut that out, what she just said, Casey.
Do you shave your armpits?
I do, yes. You want to take a look? Yeah.
Yeah, they're short.
All right,
Yeah,
there you
sure
go.
enough.
Very nice.
Okay, he's a shaver. He's
Your ass crack?
He's an O'Hare guy. You're one more step closer to Romano, man.
Yeah, Romano.
We have that in common. Wow. Okay, so this is interesting. Chrissy Teigen has admitted, listen to this,
Her again.
she underwent a cosmetic surgical procedure to have fat removed from her cheeks.
Okay.
Per a recent Instagram story she shared.
Isn't that kind of her look? She has.
She does have
she's
kind
a very
of roundish cheeks. Yeah.
clearly a beautiful woman.
She wrote, I did that Dr. Diamond buccal fat removal thing here, she said.
The Dr. Diamond buccal fat removal?
I guess so, yeah. Dr. Diamond buccal fat removal. She
I can't say
Dr. Diamond buccal fat removal.
That's amazing. I can't do that.
Dr. Diamond buccal fat removal. Dr. Diamond buccal fat removal. Dr. Diamond buccal fat removal. There you go.
That's pretty good.
Thank you, sir.
Now do it backwards.
I can't do that. Fat buccal diamond doctor. Well, I left out removal fat.
Oh, way to
All
go.
Removal fat buccal diamond doctor. I'm reading it. I can see it written here. So
Still good.
Still pretty good.
removal fat buccal diamond doctor.
I will say this after Dr. Buchal's fat removal, that she looks different.
Yes.
Well, it's sort of that what we were talking about. Who was it yesterday?
Oh, yeah.
It was Tori Spelling.
Spelling.
Spelling. It's
Terrence and Phillip.
Yes, it gives that Terrence and Phillip look.
If you do too much, it looks like she got not like almost too much. It's,
Right.
she's
Not as
flirting
much
with
as
it.
Tori.
With Dr. Buchel's fat removal?
Wait, what's buccal? Because his name's Diamond. What's the buccal?
Dr. Diamond Buchel fat
I assume the buccal is the kind
Procedure?
of fat.
Oh.
It is, or the buccal fat removal.
So it's Dr. Diamond Buchel's fat removal.
Dr. Diamond buccal fat removal.
Okay, it's not plural.
Maybe someday they'll have a Dr. Diamond buccal fat replacement.
Yes, and fill those cheeks back up again.
Exactly. Theater royalty in the form of Kristen Chenoweth, Julie Taymor, and Lin-Manuel Miranda welcomed back boisterous audiences to Wicked, The Lion King, and Hamilton for the first time since the start of the pandemic, making Tuesday as the unofficial return of Broadway. Chenoweth surprised the crowd at Wicked by appearing on stage for a speech at the same stage where she became a star years ago. And she said the fitting line, she said, "There's no place like home."
Right.
Coming back there. And the crowd hooted and hollered and gave her a standing ovation. You could hear him hoot.
It's not a hoot.
Several hoots and a couple of hollers. That'd be kind of scary.
It would be terrifying.
Yeah.
I think that the actress would walk off the stage.
Taymor, the director and costume designer for The Lion King, congratulated her audience for the courage and enthusiasm to lead the way. She said, "Theater as we know it is the lifeblood and soul of the city. It's time for us to live again." And Miranda at Hamilton summed up the feeling of a lot of people when he asked, "I don't ever want to take live theater for granted."
And by the way, I did not write Hamilton. I have to know. Yeah. You know, Preston, I have a love-hate relationship with Broadway, and because there's wonderful things to see.
Yeah.
But those theaters are designed for people from the 1870s.
Yeah, they're tiny.
And unless you're a dwarf,
But it is super exciting going.
It is
to one of those
amazing.
shows.
It is amazing.
It is also super expensive to go.
Oh, my
to
God.
one of those
$200 or
shows.
$300.
It's insane.
Yeah.
The first time I went to Broadway, I'd gotten comp tickets, okay, because of my job. I was a music director, and it was for Rent, and Rent had a soundtrack and all this stuff. And so the record company got us tickets. I'm like, wow, man, that was a great time. We enjoyed the hell of the show. It was amazing. And I'm like, we should go back and see that again sometime. And then we went to go back and see it, and we paid for tickets. I'm like, oh my God.
They offer packages though that are actually really good deals that comes with dinner at you can choose from a number of restaurants and things like that. So at least it's
hotels sometimes and an organ transplant.
But just anything in New York.
Anything in New York.
You get a cheese sandwich, and they're like, that'll be $14. You're like, what? It's a cheese sandwich, though.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's so. We're in New York.
One last story. John Mellencamp revealed to the Indianapolis Monthly that in addition to recently recording, he and Bruce Springsteen actually painted together. He said, "Bruce and I have done 2 paintings together."
This is my house, and this is the smoke coming out of the chimney, and this is me and my family holding hands, and that's a daisy.
He said, "We have a..."
That's a turkey. I made it with my hands.
He said, "We have a painting that we worked on for 2 days straight."
Yeah.
He said he painted one side, I painted the other.
That's the whole.
And he also said Bruce had never painted at all, and he was really good, really into it.
Have you seen any of
Mellencamp stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really good. He's accomplished.
How come
Now,
my turkey looks better?
I don't know if he does realistic stuff or not, but he definitely does some cool
Impressionistic?
things. Yeah, it might be considered impressionistic. I guess.
Excess paint, and it blends all this together.
Yeah, this is it.
There we go. We're painting mountains, as you know. You always want the top of the mountain to be more distinct than the bottom of the mountain, because at the bottom we have mist, and now we have wonderful pollution.
So before I knew that I had ASMR,
right,
and I was a teenager, I would sit there with Bob Ross on, smoke a little herb and just sit there and
Get
just
lost.
absolutely zone out into it and have no idea why I liked him so much.
Did you ever get inspired to attempt to paint along with him?
Oh, God, no.
Okay.
I have no artistic ability whatsoever. I had, at a younger age, I had tried. I had a friend who was a decent artist, and he gave me a canvas, and Steve. There was a house with chimney coming out of it, and a daisy, and a family. I mean, it was just terrible. It was horrible.
Curly smoke coming out.
Yeah, just bad. The sun in the corner.
Yeah, with the lines coming out. Yeah.
With the rays
Hey,
coming
son,
out of
you
it.
can't see the whole sun, but just a quarter.
Anyhow, he said he said about Bruce. He said, "I was surprised at how hard he tried. He was like, how do you do this, John? How do you make this
This is
work?
terrible.
We're trying to.
It stinks. I can't draw. Why'd you make me do this? I don't want to do it. This is stupid.
Like a little kid.
I can't draw.
This is stupid.
I tried to draw a cat. Why did you make me do this? God damn it.
He just starts stamping in
Don't want that.
in one spot.
Let's play with the ball. Stupid paint.
He would say,
Told you I don't want to do this.
he would say, hey, John, how do you do this? How do I make this work?
Stupid.
He said, we're
It
trying.
doesn't look like anything. I'm not good.
No, you are.
I'm not.
No, you are.
I don't like this.
Trust me. It looks good.
It's not that bad.
He's throwing a tantrum. He'd rather go outside and play.
Yeah. You've never done this before. Cut yourself some
I
slack.
can't. I'm stupid.
You're not stupid, Bruce. You just
Traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
Thank you, Kathy. So, Swifties, you and your issue with the ticket is a big, big deal now.
Let me ask you something. And we talked about this earlier. When you feel, because I've never had this, my cats have never wanted to go to a concert, so I never felt the pressure of someone in my home, like a kid, desperately wants to go see a show.
Oh, a ton of parents, I think, are stressed out about it.
So that's all that I'm seeing in these reports about, like on the edge of going off the charts crazy.
Because you want to give, when your kid is very excited about something, you know what I mean? It warms your heart. And if they love some and you want to get it for them, and then it becomes a mission. Like now you're like, well, wait a minute. Somebody told me I can't, or it's going to be difficult. So that's why there's parents that are sitting on the computer for hours.
And not to mention Christmas is a month away,
Well, a lot are doing it for Christmas gifts.
Right.
Totally. Yeah. This would be an incredible gift. But I mean, I guess, you could hide your kid. I didn't get tickets and then surprise them on Christmas
Actually,
Eve.
that would
And then
be a
they'll
great
follow through on
surprise.
it.
Wait, so
Here you go. Yeah, it's just a reaffirmation that I couldn't get tickets.
my friend that got through and got the $99 seats, so she got the face value seats. She has a son, and she goes, now I have to buy him courtside seats for the Sixers.
Courtside?
I remember if I ever tried to broker a deal like that with my brother, but my father would give me the death stare. Like,
my God.
Don't even.
Don't even go there.
I don't know. Santa Claus is always so good to us. And, it's not like we weren't super affluent,
Yes. You're a people of the dirt.
But nah, listen, my dad was my dad was a truck driver. My mom worked for the post office. We weren't
Didn't have a lot.
We weren't rolling in it, but I never, ever went to bed on Christmas night being disappointed with what I went through that day.
Case I told you the story. Yeah, and it's all in perspective, but I think as a parent, as you guys are parents, the onus somehow, what you were saying, Kathy, is you're doing it for them also, and then you don't want to be the parent. This is what I'm assuming. I'm not a parent, so I don't know I don't want to be the parent that failed to get.
I mean, for me, it's more like the joy for him.
Right.
If it's something that he really wants to do, I want to be able to give that to him.
Absolutely. You want to make them happy. And you want to see them really, really happy.
He wants to see Alexis, Texas.
Yeah, but we just did this. We went through this recently. My daughter went to see Harry Styles. Harry did a bunch of shows at Madison Square Garden.
That was a huge ticket.
That was a huge ticket to get, and it wasn't an easy get. And I think they had something similar for American Express card holders. This time it was for Capital One, and so we don't have an Amex, but our friends do, and so they were able to secure tickets.
Do you get leverage, Nick? Like you think on the credit card, things like that, like for Capital
when
One?
they do pre-sales that you do.
You do?
Yeah, definitely for certain shows. At least with Harry Styles, Casey, there were a lot of shows to choose from. I'm not saying that it was easy, but there were plenty of shows that perhaps one night would be not completely sold out or whatever.
Math here, because
there's 70,000 seats at the Link and 3 shows, so that's 210,000 tickets in theory. That
MSG and 15 shows,
17,000 maybe at MSG. I'm just this whole Taylor Swift debacle or whatever you want to call it. It just obviously reminds me of Pearl Jam from 1995 and them challenging Ticketmaster and on this last tour. Pearl Jam worked exclusively with Ticketmaster, and they tried to do it in a way to eliminate bots, to eliminate scalpers, and I'm sure it worked on some level, but it's Ticketmaster, love it or not, it is essentially a monopoly. So that's the system that we have. So that's kind of the system that we have to deal with, and then the consequences when it's third party tickets, when the Taylor Swift tickets going for what did you see the other day, Preston? Like
$35,000.
Do you know what the fees are on the tickets? Like $79.
Yeah, and the fees for what?
Just the processing fees?
No, I think some of them are even more than that. Like I can't pay $4.99 for shipping. When those fees popped up, even when you're for World Series too, when you were looking at those tickets on StubHub, the fees it added hundreds of dollars.
And tell me what
do
those fees pay for?
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm curious about. What is the actual physical
They
thing
have
that
us over
costs
a barrel.
that money?
What can we do?
Exactly.
As a
Nothing.
consumer, what the freak can we do? We can't do anything.
I know.
Yeah.
There's no other option.
I mean, what are we going to do? Like, hey, 350 million Americans, let's not buy tickets.
Well, Preston's asked, and that's a very salient question. What exactly, and they'll never provide you with an accounting that explains why you need to tag on $80
You don't.
for processing fee.
All of us have worked in radio for a long time.
Yeah.
I still don't understand it. People ask me about trying to get tickets. I had a friend a month ago asking me about the Taylor Swift tickets. I'm like, man, good luck. I wish I could give you good advice because I still don't understand why some tickets are sold out. I don't know why third-party things are considered illegal and scalpers.
Yeah.
I don't get that argument.
Sometimes it's the only way you can literally get the tickets.
Yes.
It's like trying to figure out what a resort fee is.
Yeah.
What?
What the hell?
Didn't I just pay you?
We already paid for everything.
What the hell is a resort fee?
Uh-huh.
I thought the resort fee was the fee that you paid to go to the resort.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought that was the thousands of dollars I
have to
already
pay.
gave you.
Is this an enjoyment fee?
Unbelievable. All right, so we're looking. I don't know. This is a parody thing. It says Ticketmaster be like. Concert ticket $40, venue fee $21.32, access fee $18.32, paperless transmission fee $12.03, fee $8. Okay, this is a joke. Fee fi fo fum fee, cause we can see fee, cause we can fee, might as well fee free. All right, whatever.
But as Casey also, they got you over a barrel. What are you going to do?
What are we gonna do?
You're down to the wire. You want to get your Taylor Swift tickets. You want to get your, at the time, World Series tickets. And I have yet to find or hear from anyone who has, people claim to have methods, but they don't.
Oh yeah, of getting them.
They claim to have
I don't know
methods.
what the story is, and then don't even get me started on the secondary market. I've never bought tickets on the secondary market. It's that whole thing is the issue with that is so far over that it doesn't matter. That brokers can go and buy a whole chunk of tickets and then resell them for even more. In the old days we called that scalping.
Yes! That's exactly what I just said.
Now it's legal scalping.
How is that legal? Listen, in case I know you're sort of like clamoring for a return to the old days, and we'll never get back to what that was. However, there was a bit of sanctity in going and standing in line. Even if there was a lottery while you were in line, like if you would, and I would go to Strawbridge's, and
it was actually a communal process.
It was.
It was actually there were parts of it that were enjoyable, believe it or not, from someone who hates lines.
Yes, and the West Coast Video on Westchester Pike and whatever, like you would go there, you'd have to show up early. At least there was some, I don't know, semblance of order to that process. Now it just seems like it's a wild, wild west.
No, I disagree. I would much rather sit in front of my computer and be sitting here or in my own house than have to go outside.
You don't want to be at the Suncoast Video?
I know what you're saying.
A lot of times, we would miss out on it. You'd be at school, or if you're at work, or you can't, I guess that's the same chance as somebody who just doesn't get in, but.
It'd be great if you still had that option. If you could do it online or in person, that'd be great.
The thought process of like, hey, the tickets are going to go on sale at 10 a.m. If I show up in line at 5:30 a.m., I've earned it. Like I've worked for these tickets, and I'm first in line. And when the tickets go on sale at 10 a.m., I'm going to be the first. Well, whereas when you're sitting at your computer screen, Kathy,
you have no idea
where you are in line.
Yeah,
I remember my mom dropped me off at like 3:30 in the morning.
Oh yeah,
it was before I had a driver's license, and I went to get rush tickets.
Yeah.
And I waited in line. I got second row tickets, man.
There you go. You earned it.
And now it was a lottery system too, and I didn't need to get there as early as I got there.
Right.
But I got lucky, and I got second row tickets.
Well,
It's the show where Neil Peart saw you
saw me smoking a joint.
Oh my God!
Oh, what are you doing to you?
I said second row, and I put two and two together.
I was 15 years old.
guy.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just tell you something. Now, look right here. This young man
Look at our
smoking marijuana.
There's like, I mean, I think the lines have, I mean, even for Black Friday, stuff like that, like they've gone away because everything is accessible online now. But there was something that I was trying to get for a long time. And what I found was that, and somebody gave me this trick, that if you had the app as opposed to going to their website, you had more of a chance of getting it, or there was more available on the app. And sure enough, I got what I wanted from the app.
Using their app.
But Steve, at the time I purchased it, I went to the website, said it was sold out, and my friend goes, no, go to the app.
Yeah. So I have about 5 or 6 proprietary apps for concert or ticket things that I have on my phone that I've used just the one time I needed those tickets. Yeah. And it's annoying as hell.
You know what the line thing still happens for, Catherine? You saw it yourself. Are for sneaker drops because there are a lot of sneakerheads out there, and there is a secondary market for sneakers.
But same thing. You can get that online too.
You can, but
they still line up.
They still line up. Yeah, my son did it because he was like, all right, maybe I'll be a sneaker flipper, right? So he bought these Yeezys, and then
sneaker flipper,
and then Kanye said what he said, and they dropped them.
So like $20 now.
So, but you know, it's funny. It works. It can work either way. You know, like
wait. So
yes. Mr. Kanye, could you retract what you said? I've made a significant investment, and I'm looking to recoup my cost.
But actually, the price still has gone up, right? So now we're stuck with the conundrum of like,
get rid of him now.
Well, no. Like, do we really want to profit off of, he
yes,
said some pretty inflammatory. I'm like, well, we don't want to lose money. Right.
Right. By the way, I have a sneaker observation.
Yes.
There's a Nike store at the premium outlets, the Philadelphia premium outlets, and there's always a line outside. Yeah. Exactly. And I think they fake that line. I think that they only let so many people into the store.
Yes.
Because I look inside and I'm like, there's no one in there. There's nobody in line. What is this?
It's like the Louis Vuitton store.
They do that on purpose, right?
That Louis Vuitton line pisses me off. There's 4 people inside. They do it
King
to
of Prussia?
make it,
Right.
Yes. They do it. They put out the ropes and the whole thing. And I'm like, the one time I went by, I go, what are you guys waiting for? And the girl goes, nothing. We're just waiting to get in. And I looked in the store and there was
nobody in there.
They literally let I think they let per shopper to one shopper per.
Do they do it?
We should try. We should go to the KOP. They have a Spencer's there, don't they?
They use
set up our own red rope line outside of Spencer's. Put somebody in a tuxedo with a clipboard, and you've. I'm looking for large greeting cards featuring obese women. That'll be about 30 minutes.
Yeah. Do they do that for like shoplifters? To.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and
at high-end stores like Louis Vuitton.
Yeah, but I also think they do it to.
Yeah.
Show you that there's a line to get in.
What about the Lego store? Right? Isn't that an appointment thing?
No.
Oh, is it?
No, not the Lego store.
Build-A-Bear
Legoland.
Build-A-Bear, maybe.
Build-A-Bear, you had to, there was a line, but that was demand for a stretch. So there was a lot of people that wanted that damn bear.
Would you like to have a heart inside your bear?
Yeah.
It's only an additional $44,000. Is it an actual functioning pulmonary heart?
Yes.
Right.
We have so many Build-A-Bears. I'm like,
I know, same here.
They
We
just
had
collect
so
us.
many of them. They're gone now. My kids have grown up. But there was a time when we'd be walking, we didn't realize we had wandered into the Build-A-Bear zone. And we'd be like, oh, no, look over, look over there. Hey, there's a clown over there.
It is!
Yeah.
Oh, I avoided.
Look over there! Look over there!
So many carnivals, man. I'm like, oh no, we cannot drive down the street.
Oh,
yes.
Totally.
you guys know that's what my mom used to do with the ice cream truck. When it would come by,
You
she
throw
would
the
close
blinds.
the blinds
Yeah.
and she would put music on so we wouldn't hear it.
Who wants to hear Anthrax?
Steve, no, you rifling off that gun.
Yeah.
You can just yell, there's a man with a gun right over there. All of a sudden, there's a big disturbance. Wow. All right. Well, anyway, this Ticketmaster thing, it's diving into to the point where they're going to take a harder look at things. Where that goes, I do not know.
They're filing lawsuits.
But some lawmakers are looking into that. But
I feel bad though because I think people think maybe there's going to be a resolution. There's not. The tickets are sold out. They can't add seats. You're not going.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I also, I talked to our friend Ike Richmond, who was like, listen, there's big fervor over it right now.
Yeah.
Things are going to die off, and you're not going to be paying $9,000 a ticket, or
I wonder if she takes a stand. If Taylor Swift actually does something about it, because she has influence.
I was going to say I've heard nothing.
She has,
from
they
her
said
camp.
she has not commented
And
yet.
it's probably smart on her part not to say anything
But
yet.
she has so much power, and the way that she was able to influence that Scooter Braun thing, like she ended up winning in the long run with that. So like she can kind of do whatever she wants with so many things at this point. I wonder if she can have an influence over Ticketmaster.
Well, what they can do, honestly, is they can extend tour dates, but I mean, she's
Yeah,
freaking
like how
Taylor
much
Swift.
and how much can she do? You know what I mean? There is a limit to what she can do.
It is pretty amazing, though, the power that she does wield.
Yes. Seriously.
And not just in ticket sales, but I mean, the whole scrutiny of breaking down of her lyrics in her songs and stuff like that. I'm to me personally, it seems like a waste of time. But if you're a massive fan of an artist or a musician or a band or whatever it may be, and you're picking apart these clues in these songs.
This one's about Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
This one's about John Mayer. This one's about Jake Gyllenhaal. And this one's about John Mayer.
It is what it is, but nonetheless,
This one's about her cats.
That's where
And this one's about Jake Gyllenhaal.
That's where we are. You know what? I know we have a few guests, and I want to get to some junk drawer stuff, or else we're not going to be able to get to any of it all. Do you mind?
No, by all means.
And this does have to do with ticket sales, this first story. The Philadelphia Convention. Oh, yeah. Wait, hang on. Let me find it.
You got to look for it. You wouldn't just have it right there. You're actually going through a drawer.
Oh, there it is. So the Philadelphia Convention and Visitors Bureau announced that the Phillies postseason games generated a total economic impact of $78 million in Philadelphia.
Awesome.
Isn't that
knew
great?
it. Yeah, of course. That was wonderful.
Yeah, during the 3-week postseason.
I was selling fake Taylor Swift tickets.
During the 3-week postseason run, Philadelphia welcomed approximately 34,000 overnight visitors, supporting 35,000 total hotel room nights. So that's just one of the stats. Yeah.
All of that stuff, all of the vendors and all the people who had peripheral revenue coming because of that. It was awesome.
I'm still thinking about what it would have been like had we had camp out and a parade the same week. It would have been Wednesday of last week.
It would have been a wonderful day.
It really would have. But
we could have just sat on the camper.
Do you know they started setting up like the barriers and porta potties and stuff?
We should have just followed through with what
you just had a parade. But they were
Preston with a kazoo.
the city obviously had to plan as if it were going to happen and set the stuff up. And so, I don't know if that was, I don't really believe in jinxes or whatever, but before the series was over, they had those barriers set up. They had the porta potties going out.
Yeah. During the 3-week postseason run.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Philadelphia welcomed approximately 35,000 hotel room nights, and also the exposure for Philadelphia on a global level is notable, with postseason press credentials issued to more than 1,900 members of the media, including press from 10 international markets.
At that point, there's no downside to it. I mean, especially it could not have been a better thing. Obviously, you wanted to win it, but right from the get-go, the mindset was, well, what a boon for the whole area.
Yep, exactly. So that's good news. All right, let me find something else in the junk drawer.
It actually sounds like you're going through a junk drawer.
Doesn't it sound just like that? Yeah. America's therapists are booked up. 6 in 10 psychologists say they don't have openings for new patients. It's according to a survey conducted by the American Psychological Association. The high demand for therapy is the latest sign of an ongoing U.S. mental health crisis exacerbated by coronavirus. And though millions of Americans have returned to normal life, many feel far from normal.
Yes.
Majority of the psychologists surveyed said that since the start of the pandemic, they've seen an uptick in patients who are dealing with anxiety, depression, and trauma, and that the demand for services continue to remain high. Now, while I was reading this, I think they left out one little component here. I think that that another one of the reasons might be, and of course I haven't created a study on this, is the fact that it's becoming more acceptable and open to talk about mental illness and to maybe explore those avenues and not feel quite so ashamed or
I think there's a percentage of it. I think they've seen a geometric increase in people seeking it out. So maybe those two things will dovetail.
I think
hopefully.
so.
That would be very nice, because that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Honestly, there are so many people out there who want to help you to you can talk to. There are all sorts of services.
Yeah.
And there's no reason to go through it alone and to think you don't have an ear that you can, talk into and have somebody give you advice. That therapy thing, Preston, that used to be the stigma associated with it, I think is diminishing dramatically. Hopefully it is.
Yeah. My youngest son is looking to maybe do this as a vocation down the road. He wants a major in psychology.
Wow.
And he wants to be a therapist. So I'm like, all right, look like there's no lack of patience out there right now.
Right.
So it might be a good job to
Would
get into.
you go to your own son if he was your therapist?
Oh, wouldn't that be fun? Wouldn't it be fun?
Let me tell you about my son. Can you
so-
disassociate? Is that possible?
The association started conducting the annual survey 3 years ago when the pandemic first hit, and latest surveys show that things are not improving for practitioners or their patients. Anxiety issues, particularly among young people, are common. In an APA survey, 51% of psychologists reported seeing higher rates of teens seeking therapy since the beginning of the pandemic. Youths used to go kicking and screaming to appointments, and now they're telling their parents they want to go to a therapist.
I think that's cool. I think there's an option there as well. You could, if you are an Uber or Lyft driver, also, you're sitting right there in a closed compartment.
There you go.
Get your license.
Yeah.
Be a therapist.
Who's a non? Who are the therapists of our life that are not therapists?
Well,
You know what
classically
I mean?
bartenders.
Bartenders is the classic.
Right. Yeah, you too.
People who
For people listening right now, the Preston and Steve show can be.
I guess so.
Yeah.
We were talking to Angela Perfetto yesterday. So people who do hair and beauty
Oh, my
for a
God.
living.
Oh, yeah.
You can. They really are people that you can kind of blindly open up to and not and just speak your mind. You know what I mean?
My friend and I send, things back and forth on social media, like the little, sayings that say your best friend is your therapist, your unpaid therapist.
Right.
Because, that's always somebody that you can talk to.
Yeah.
Teachers absolutely are.
Teachers, yes. Teachers can be. They used to try to always promote your guidance counselor as your...
That's what they're there for.
I met my guidance counselor once.
Well, that's the thing, but they have more of a relationship with the teacher than they do the guidance counselor oftentimes.
Right, yeah.
I'm trying to remember of specifics, but I know that in my life I have started to open up to someone and realized that they don't want to hear.
Was it a bartender?
What?
Was it a bartender?
I can't remember. There was a guy that we made friends with that was in the clergy.
Yes.
And I'm not a spiritual person, but there is that kind of. You can talk to this person type of sensation.
You should go to another
I
church.
don't believe
And I
in what
remember-
you do, but let me tell you something.
Well, but still, it doesn't mean,
of
you don't want open advice from someone. And I remember opening up to someone and I'm going, he's not giving me anything
Well,
back.
and that's
man.
a shame. That's
Listen,
what he's
dude,
doing.
you're bringing me down.
No, but I don't know. But anyway.
I know, you... Oh, I'm gonna go for it.
Yeah, totally. I'm going to do it.
Why are you telling me this? We're in a confessional.
Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned.
I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
I'm off the clock, man.
Dude, I'm in here trying to read.
I know what you mean, though, Preston. And you have to reel it back, and you're like, "Oh no!"
Wasn't that funny? I was pretending I was going to reveal myself to you.
Here are three good ones that came in via text: massage therapists, physical therapists, and tattoo artists. Because you're sitting there for a long period of time.
Yeah.
I guess in any situation where you have someone sitting there for a while.
The worst is the dentist.
And you.
What?
Dude,
I had an acupuncturist.
Don't you feel? I sometimes I'm like, don't talk to me.
Yeah.
And I love my dentist. I'm like, I can't respond.
Dr. Petula, my dentist, we are now able to communicate with my mouth fully open. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I had an acupuncturist almost try to.
I can't believe you went to an
become a therapist.
No way. Oh,
yeah,
really?
it was a little strange. It was a little weird.
Oh, they started asking you questions.
Yeah, and the person was like, "You're not really giving me much." I'm like,
Because
well,
it's supposed to guide them, I
was
guess?
like, "Aren't you supposed to put needles in my back and not ask me?" Yes,
Well,
yeah. So part of it
I have
was
a problem. My acupuncturist is too goddamn chatty.
yeah, I think this person was pretty spiritual themselves, and he was telling me though that never mind. No, I don't.
Go ahead.
No, I don't want to say. I'm trying not to reveal who it is, just in case.
All right.
They would know. I think if I said
You were almost there, yeah.
I know.
The last person you want to piss off is your acupuncturist.
Well, I
who
actually don't
now
know.
brings a ball peen hammer to your session.
And Casey, I hated every minute of it. I would sweat and count down the seconds until it was finished.
Sounds relaxing.
Steve, for me, it absolutely 100% was not.
Well,
I was just trying it.
The notion of someone who's needle phobic going to an acupuncturist seems counterintuitive.
Well, I didn't have to look at any of them.
Oh, okay.
Well, whatever. That's a different conversation. I don't find myself to be needle. I'm
Phobic?
not phobic. I just can't. I can't watch it. I can't see it. And if it's in there, like the extended period of time, and the more I have to think about it, that's why. I literally was counting until it was over.
By the way, a few more texts coming in. Personal trainers, audiologists, somebody says, are marriage therapists. Bankers, customers have told us a lot of stories, and sometimes it was
bankers.
Too much information.
Bank tellers or bankers?
I guess
I'd like to take out $50 and I'm impotent.
Do you have time? Oh my God.
Yeah.
And somebody here is
I'm in a loveless relationship.
Offering their advice. It says, please, guys, don't do that. Having someone listen to you and doing actual therapy are not the same thing. Therapy is a change process. Someone listening to you is just someone listening.
You mean that?
Yeah, I know that. We're not
therapists.
We're not.
Yeah, we're not advising you to talk to your mechanic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just saying that who do you talk to is sort of therapy.
There's a documentary on Netflix right now that was written, directed, and produced by Jonah Hill.
I watched a little bit of it.
Me too. It's called Stutz, and it's him,
his therapist,
sitting down with his therapist, and it's actually really insightful.
Is it?
At first, I was like, "This is a weird thing to do."
Yeah,
but it actually. It does, for people who might be on the fence about going to therapy, I think it would encourage them.
And I think that's the point of the documentary. Yeah. And also, he also wants it out there that that's why he's not doing any more interviewing or anything like that. He's it gives him anxiety. Yeah. And he doesn't want to be a part of that process anymore. So, all right, well, anyhow, therapy, it's through the roof right
for
now.
Dinner.
And you can find a great therapist in your area to help you out. I am sure of it. One more?
Yeah.
All right, yep. I want to make sure I got one more in from the junk drawer. Oh, look what I found. Pickleball, the fastest growing sport in the U.S., with about 5 million players across the country now. But as more people pick up paddles, doctors are seeing a surge in pickleball-related injuries.
Okay.
Doesn't seem like a very injury-prone game.
Dr. Dennis Cardone of orthopedic surgery of NYU Langhorne Health says that he's seeing more pickleball players turn up with injuries. He said arms and legs, but mostly lower legs and really just muscle strains and low back issues. Many players are retirees who can be more susceptible to injuries.
Let's go play pickleball.
Dr. Cardone says that those new to the game need to prepare before stepping on the court. So the main things to do are a good stretching and strengthening program.
And 200 burpees.
He said no, and it's also important to start gradually.
Oh, yes.
A slow progression can really make a difference in preventing injuries. So that's pretty much key with any type of physical activity you do. Ease into it. Don't dive right into the intense parts.
Pickleball seems to be not losing any steam, right? I mean, obviously, when you go into the colder months.
It is still the fastest growing sport in the U.S.
Are there indoor pickleball facilities?
At the Y that I go to, they have it.
All right.
Yeah. And, I go in usually in the middle of the afternoon, and a lot of old people playing it. Yeah.
Casey's here.
I have yet to. I mean, I literally.
Nice piece of fruit.
In my hand right now, I have my pickleball stuff,
Wow.
But I have yet to actually play. Preston and I kind of tinkered around a little bit in the.
Yeah, we batted it around the other day inside.
Get into it.
We have a performance area over here. It's a separate studio, and so everyone's bringing in bands to play. They were like, we can play pickleball.
Yeah.
But if you've ever pulled a muscle bowling, maybe pickleball, yes, stretch a little bit before you.
I exercise all the time, but if you're not used to using the muscles that way,
it can be anything.
Yeah.
It can be anything.
And by the way, speaking of muscles, my neck from that meltdown thing last week.
Oh yeah,
still hurting.
Well, so it was a little bit delayed, and it didn't. So what do we do that on Tuesday?
Yeah,
Wednesday my back hurt, and then it wasn't until Thursday or Friday, where my neck.
It looked ugly.
And it's still bothering me now.
I watched you go down. I was right next to you when it happened. I was like, oh my God, that looks terrible. And then you got up. You bounced up pretty fast.
No, I laid there for a little bit. well, because I laid there because I knew how I landed. And so for a second there, I was like, okay. am I dead? Is this part of the afterlife? Like, you know what I mean?
Does it still look like camp out in heaven?
Yeah,
What a way to go.
I had to like listen, think for a second, like, okay, like what am I experiencing right now? Like, all right, I can move everything. I could hear Preston saying, "Casey, are you okay?" And I was asking myself the same stuff because I realized
What year is
yeah. And I surprisingly at that moment I felt fine, but it was just
no, that's how it happens.
I was watching it yesterday, watching the replay of it, and when that thing got turned on fast, it's ridiculous.
That's a terrible game.
But the best part of it is when you took the hit and went down like that, you go up in the air, it knocks you head over heels, boom, you land on your neck, and then it keeps swinging around. It picks up Kyle.
Yes.
And takes him and slams him into Marissa. It's just hilarious.
There's
it's so
no
funny. And it is the latest Daily Rush. It is out right now.
Oh,
If you'd
okay.
like to see that. So.
There's no way to play that. You can't play that. You can't beat that. You can't win.
No, the
you're going to
machine
get your
wins.
ass kicked.
Yeah, if you're John Henry, the machine's going to win that game every time.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyhow, be careful if you're playing Meltdown or Pickleball.
Right.
We're watching the video of it right now.
oh, sorry.
No, that's okay. But if we watch it, it's this big apparatus, this game. And after we go through a few rounds, you guys don't even try jumping. Like it's
exhausting. It was exhausting.
How could you who would be able to clear that?
Yeah. I didn't do it because I knew I would have gotten hurt.
Yes.
I absolutely would have gotten hurt.
You are smart.
No. All right. Well, anyhow, that's it for the junk drawer. Now we can wrap it up, Casey. Thank you very much. All right. Let us take a break because we got some B-Files stories to share. We also have a few guests on the program. Ian Fidance is going to be stopping by this morning, and John O'Hurley, Peterman, will be with us as well. Stay with us.
Preston and Steve.
On 93.3 WMMR.
We are happy to go get some milk, and then we'll try this again later. Okay.
Bring it in the purple cup.
John. Hey, that's important to a kid.
Oh, of course.
He said, we're trying to figure out how to sell it and give the money to charity. He said, but I was proud of him. He went after it.
Gigantic star.
Very proud of you.
I know, but you don't like it because you didn't put it on the refrigerator. So you say things that are not true.
Oh my God.
If you liked it a lot, you would put it on the refrigerator, and you did.
I'm bringing it,
and
to
then you
work.
make me feel stupid.
I was so busted
Oh, no.
from the refrigerator to the trash can. Why is this in here? I was like, oh, that was a mistake. I don't know what happened. It must have come off with some of the other stuff. I'm so sorry.
Oh, my God. I keep that stuff. Happy throws it away. Jace, come over to my house. We'll appreciate it. Whenever you guys are ready, this is Froggy on MMR. Here we go.
I love nachos. Nachos from 7-Eleven. I know that they're bad for me, but when I eat them, I'm in heaven. 7-Eleven nachos. 7-Eleven nachos. 7-Eleven nachos. Liquid topping tastes so good. Post-band practice, I buy them. I eat them in Fiona's kitchen. Best, worst nachos in the world. They're the only thing I want. 7-Eleven nachos! 7-Eleven nachos! 7-Eleven nachos! You would have some if you could. Nachos! 7-Eleven nachos! 7-Eleven nachos! I think they taste pretty good. 7-Eleven nachos are like $4.20. That's a funny number, but I should know the price by now, but I really don't. The cheese is so good, it's all bright orange. Yeah! Oh, nachos! And cheese! Yeah! 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 Wow! 7-Eleven nachos.
I love that. I love the lyric. They taste pretty good.
I love it. And the original recording, I couldn't hear everything where you go, I highly recommend it. I love that. And by the way, you know who's a fan of this band? Nikki freaking Sixx is a fan of Froggy.
He's our best friend. I love that guy.
He wanted a Froggy t-shirt, right? Isn't that the deal? Did you guys get him one?
Oh, yeah. We were like, he was like, how much? We were like, do not even worry about it. We were like, for you, it's free.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, my God. That is the best. I love it. So I want to hear, so, you know, when we ask somebody to do a song for us, to do a jingle or whatever, you never know if they'll go, yeah, right, whatever. But these guys were like, oh, of course, we'll totally do that. So we were totally psyched about that. Did it take a while to come up with something, or was it pretty easy to come to you immediately?
It kind of came to us immediately. We kind of used the riff we had in store. We just didn't know what to put lyrics with it, and we're like, this is the perfect riff to do it with. And we had 2 drafts of the lyrics, but we came up with something good.
Okay.
And yeah, we're really excited.
So the world debut.
Yeah.
And what is the title of the song?
No title yet.
No
untitled. All right.
Song.
All right. So I'm excited for this, and I want to make sure we get a good recording of it. This might be our only chance to get it. Unless it ends up on an album.
Sure, in the future we will record it.
All right.
yes.
We appreciate that.
November. I guess it's November now.
It is.
Soon.
By the way, let's check this out, and then we'll find out where any gigs and things like that are coming up. So can we get the Preston and Steve song?
Sure.
All right, let's check this out. Froggy, I'm so excited they're here this morning. These guys, they got heart, man. I love it.
Real
All right,
deal.
whenever you're ready.
We got to have that.
It's Friday. Did you hear that at the end?
Yeah.
Oh, I think that's our new Friday anthem if I've ever heard one.
Yeah.
Oh, that was outstanding. I couldn't hear exactly what was being said in the middle there.
The third part was no school for me, Mom. I don't want to go. I just want to listen to the radio.
Yes. Oh.
No, we need that. Yes,
Old
absolutely.
school angst. I love it.
Love it. We're honored.
You guys have any gigs coming up that we need to be aware of?
New Year's Eve at Philomoka with Colleen Green and Joe Jack Talcum. It's
Okay.
going to be awesome.
Yep, it's our biggest show.
And something early December in the works, not fully planned out yet.
We're
but
actually taking November off to record a little something.
Yeah,
Very nice.
So, yeah.
Nice.
Well, will you keep us apprised of what your dates are, and we'll get them out for you, man.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
thank
And
you.
People who love straight up punk are gonna love this this energy that you guys have.
So that New Year's Eve show, all ages show, or
Yep,
is it
all ages.
Okay. Speaking of ages, how old are we all here? So Morgan, how old are you?
18.
And Brooke?
I'm 18.
And how about you, Fiona?
17.
18, and 17 years old.
They're so damn good, though, man. They really are. It's great.
Hey, what are you guys doing the second or third Saturday in May of 2022?
Nothing that I know
guess
of.
we're
all right.
free.
Yeah, just
I'm free.
keep those Saturdays open. Just
Dude, that would be awesome.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
like, what is he talking about? What is
The
second-
barbecue.
Got it.
And barbecue.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes
Froggy.
Well, this morning I quit my job, so I know I'll be over.
Oh, my God. Wait, Brooke, did you quit your job to be here?
Well, not exactly, but today was just the day where everybody was like, do it. Just do it.
Really?
Yeah.
All right,
Like
that's
an
so
hour ago.
punk. That's so punk of you. I love it. And you're wearing a Ween shirt. That's really cool. Have those guys reached out to you at all? Or is it not a Ween shirt?
We've been talking to Gene Ween's son about maybe collaborating on our album. That was a while ago, but I hope he's still interested. I love Ween so
Ween's
much.
great, yeah.
Yeah.
Remember there was Push Little Daisies.
Yeah.
Was
They're out of New Hope, I believe.
Yeah.
I'm a roses are free kind of guy.
I'm a very chocolate and cheese and God Ween Satan girl. Those are my favorites.
Excellent. All right. Well, one of the songs we requested, I got a nice slice of pizza here ready for this, was Pizza Ball.
Oh yeah.
What's the name of your LP or your EP that you have, your album?
Sopa de elote translates roughly to corn soup or corn chowder. I picked something random. I was like, guys, I think this will sound weird. We had no idea what to do. Yeah, we just kind of picked.
I love it.
Corn soup is fine. Yeah.
All right, well, let's get one more song out of Froggy this morning. And whenever you guys are ready, we want to hear Pizza Ball.
Woo!
Yeah. All right, let's do this thing. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just tuning in live at the Preston Steve Camp Out for Hunger, this is Froggy.
Time to deliver a pizza ball. 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 One time I was 8, my whole family went to the store, and there's this guy Wayne who's making this clam chowder. It was what he was known for, and it tasted so freaking good. I had like 10 bowls of that clam chowder, and I tell you what, I woke up in the middle of the night. And I said, Mom, and I threw up all over the floor. Someone carried me away, and that's all I remember from that night. Yeah! Time to deliver a pizza ball. Time to deliver a pizza ball. Time to deliver a pizza ball. Time to deliver a clam chowder ball. Time to deliver a pizza ball. Time to deliver a pizza ball. Time to deliver a pizza ball. Time to deliver a clam chowder ball.
Yes.
That's awesome.
That's
so great.
I had to shoot the confetti for Froggy in the end. They finally got pyro, man. I love it. You guys are the best. You are so much fun. We love that you're doing just straight up, just in your face pump.
Yeah.
It is the best. And thanks for writing a Preston and Steve
Yeah,
show
of course.
song. We'll make sure we have information on them on our social media accounts, and you can check them out. Let's hear it from Morgan and Brooke and Fiona. This is Froggy. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for having us.
You got it.
We love you guys.
We love you.
Rats continue to run rampant in the neighborhood. It's happening in the 3600 block of Germantown Avenue. Residents say the rats are living in a vacant lot that's not being attended to by the owner. Right next to the lot is a barbershop that's owned by DJ DeSinga. He says the rodents are burrowing into the ground and under nearby buildings. He says complaints have been made to the city, but not much has been done about the problem.
Kathy, did you see that the rats actually started a barbershop quartet? It was amazing.
The rats are even finding their way into nearby homes. One resident said it jumped up on my couch and went onto the floor, and it had claws.
Wow.
I would die if that happened to me.
Listen to them. They're beautiful.
Good old days, 20 years from now.
Wait a minute. Can you speed that up?
Oh, my, these will be the good old songs that are on the...
I can't speed it up
Damn
while you're...
it!
Well, no, not while you're actually playing it.
I shall work on it so we can get an actual
okay.
depiction of the rat barbershop quartet.
Yes, it would be, journalistically appropriate.
Right.
to
Yeah,
get
I mean,
that
come on
a little
now.
bit more
in
accurate.
part
if we
accurate.
can.
Exactly. Preston. That's why
Actually,
you won that
I
award.
think better than speeding it up would be like pitching it up. You know what I mean?
Well, whatever. Yeah. somehow or
yeah.
another make it higher. Can you do that? Or
I don't know.
it doesn't
Probably
matter.
not.
You know these will be the good old days.
That just sounds like a key change.
Okay. I'm still.
It's all good.
I'm just playing with it a little bit here.
Listen, it was a threadbare concept to begin with.
You've never produced a rat barbershop quartet before, Casey?
Well, no, but you know
call
what?
yourself a major market producer.
I know. All right, so here's.
He was called the Phil Spector of rat barbershop quartet.
The wall of sound.
So with the cold
Wall of
weather
cheese.
months of
So good.
There's a Grammy. You're getting a Grammy.
It's perfect. One more time. One more time.
Oh, my God.
They're good. They're really good.
I never thought I'd start my day off this way.
You don't have much else to do. rehearse their parts.
Yeah, that's why they're so good.
I'm looking at the video of this, and we saw what we thought was a dead rat on our walk the other day.
No.
And well, it's confirmed. I'm looking at these videos because it wasn't huge, so we
Right.
were like, "Is it a mouse? Is it a rat?" No, it
These,
was a rat.
these are more like like field rats,
Right.
So if you get if you've ever been inside of the
Subway, yeah.
you're gonna see much larger rats.
Thank you, Kathy. Ladies and gentlemen, Casey has 2 announcements to make.
I just want to. I want to do this on behalf of our friend Zach Spiker, basketball coach for Drexel men's basketball.
Good man.
Tonight is the night. They're doing a coat drive. They have a game against Arcadia University that is at 7:00. If you bring a coat. That will be donated to the community right there in West Philadelphia. So if you bring a coat to the game tonight, you'll get 50% off your admission to the game. And I want to do that for Zach because he's such a great guy.
Do you know? Can you just simply donate a coat even if you're not? Are they able to accept them that way?
Yeah,
as well? All right,
yeah. You don't have to go to the game
Right,
tonight.
right,
You can go and just drop off a coat and be on your way. But that is tonight at 7:00. And then also, I want to give a shout out and a thank you to a guy named Christian Beiser. Last night on my way I had a gig last night at Barnaby's in Westchester. I got a flat tire on the way. And so I pulled into a Wawa. There was a Wawa gas station, and I'm going to change the tire. This guy, Chris, he's, right next to me. He's like, "Hey, do you need any help?" But I said, "No, I'm good. I can do it, blah, blah, blah." But, he helped me anyway, and it was awesome. And I really appreciate his help. As it turns out, Christian and his girlfriend, Ashley, are huge fans of the show. In fact, he called Ashley, and I talked to her on the phone while he was helping me out and taking lug nuts off the tires. But, Christian, thank you so much. Really, really appreciate your help.
Hey, I'll do a quick shout out, too, because I got this email from Camp Out for Hunger. It says, "Hey, my name is Chris, longtime listener, first time writing." His name is Chris Grubb, by the way. I said, met you for the first time in Camp Out for Hunger on Friday, and the cat totally had my tongue. So excited yet surreal and a bit nervous. What do I say? That all I could express was gratitude. Already looking forward to next year and becoming more involved. And he said he wanted to do a shout out. He said, "For my main man, the legend, Nick, the moist meat man from Dietz and Watson Premium Meats and Artisan Cheeses. He is a brother to me, one of the hardest working lads I know. And I'm so excited to celebrate his wedding next year. Can't get enough of that sugar crisp. Love you, bud. I would be over the moon if you could stitch together a Ric Flair or Randy Savage shout out for my boy." We could do a little Ric Flair woo love and then a shart. Here we go. All right, and so there you go, my man. It was nice to meet you. I mean, he sent some pictures, so I remember who Chris was. And then another quick email, and then we got to do the B file. This was sent to Nick, and it's from a listener in Spain.
Spain, that's another country.
He said, "I just caught up to my Preston and Steve podcast, and I heard the amazing totals from Camp Out 2022. Heard the message throughout the broadcast from the show's team, and how it is the people from the Delaware Valley, including this transplanted one in Spain, that make it happen. But you all need to take pride in the knowledge that this does not happen without all of you and your efforts. And you as leaders lead the way, and the results follow. Thank you all for all you continue to do. And I'm proud to be a speck of sand on the beach of this accomplishment. The world needs more people like the team of the Preston and Steve Show. Cheers." And it's from John Iannacone, I think is how you say his name, or Iannacone, I'm not sure. So, but from Spain. So, dude, we appreciate that. Thank you for checking in. All right, as I mentioned, it is indeed Friday. We got this live at the Camp Out. This was our original live from the year before. Let's get into Friday.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
Brought to you by Lehigh Valley Red Robin. This holiday season, the gifts are all wrapped, and you can give your gift of yum with a $25 Red Robin holiday gift card, and you can get a $5 bonus buck reward for you now through December 31st. Red Robin, yum. Nice. All right, by the way, this is an all-animal bizarre file.
Wow.
All animal-related stories that just happen that way. How about this one? A woman who buried her dog after being told that she'd been hit by a car has been reunited with her dog after she turned up alive and well.
You stupid bitch.
Cody,
I was alive.
Cody Hutton was left heartbroken after her Springer Spaniel Maisie darted off into the darkness after being spooked by a firework. The 26-year-old spent days searching for her beloved dog and even camped out in a field where she had last been seen, but her search came to an end after she received a dreaded call saying a flattened dog had been found. She took the dog home, buried her in the garden, but miraculously just days later, she was reunited with her pup. It turns out that Cody had unsuspectingly buried what was likely to have been a fox, and Maisie had survived the whole ordeal with no injuries.
I like how they describe it as flat.
Yeah.
She said, "We were convinced from the tail and markings on the legs that it was her. A microchip couldn't be found, but we accepted and made peace with her death. I told my son, Talon, that she was a star in doggy heaven now. I was devastated. After Maisie was rescued by locals, she was returned home.
What are you guys crying for?
And was overjoyed to be reunited with her family." So
That's miraculous.
Yep, totally. A 22-year-old New Jersey man was identified as the alleged shooter who illegally killed 4 black bear cubs over the weekend. Yeah, the Ringwood man, Matthew Ligas, was issued a summonses for the bear's death, which range in fines between $1,500 to $5,700. The cubs were discovered on Sunday when New Jersey Fish and Wildlife Conservation police officers got a call about the dead bears reported by a hiker in Ringwood State Park. Police responded to the scene and began an investigation. Upon arrival, they located a 4th dead bear cub. An investigation revealed the bears had been fatally shot. Officers continued their investigation Monday and issued Ligas summonses the next day. He received summonses for hunting with a firearm without a firearm license, hunting taking a bear during a closed season, careless discharge of firearm, possessing and using illegal ammunition, and hunting and taking a bear with an illegal weapon.
It still seems a little light, right, for killing 4 bear cubs?
News of charges against Ligas came at the same day that Governor Phil Murphy had announced a bear hunt would begin in the state on December 5th in designated areas. The hunt will not apply to cubs under 75 pounds, nor bears traveling in family packs with cubs below 75 pounds. Yep, be on the bear watch. An Arizona driver doesn't seem to give a hoot. Cops say that they found an owl in his passenger seat when they pulled him over for a DUI in Arizona.
He's been drinking all night.
And it's not even the strangest part of the story. Payson police say that they found the little co-pilot early Thursday morning when officers performed the traffic stop. As they approached the vehicle, they immediately noticed the bird of prey riding shotgun.
Let me do the talking.
Cops say the driver told them that he bought the owl at a local gas station.
Oh, my God.
That's where you should get most of your owls, at your gas station. I think they get the freshest.
Police say it's illegal to transport, possess, buy, or sell wildlife in the state unless expressly permitted under Arizona law.
Yeah, a cup of coffee, a pack of cigarettes, and I'll take that owl.
The owl was reportedly picked up at the AZ Game and Fish Department after the discovery, but was apparently unable to be released back into the wild due to minor injuries. As for the driver, cops say he was arrested for aggravated DUI, possession of methamphetamine, and possession of wildlife as well.
How often does that happen? Those two possessions.
Yeah, an owl and meth.
Right?
He's been doing meth, a lot of it. How much meth? He bought an owl.
Yeah. All right, this is pretty wild. A 13-year-old corgi and her owner were viciously attacked Tuesday by a pack of poodles at Trinidad State Beach. Catherine Burleson was walking her dog, Emma, and was with a friend at the beach when a pack of 10 standard poodles jumped out of a car about 50 feet away and ran towards him. Burleson said she reached down to pick up Emma, who was so scared that she wriggled out of her harness, and within seconds, the pack was on them. She said, they jumped on us. We were at the bottom of a pack of 10 snarling, biting dogs. She said, I thought Emma and I were going to be killed.
That's when you start kicking.
Burleson tried to cover Emma with her body to protect her. At some point, the owner of the poodles, identified as Frank Malat, joined the fray, and Burleson felt her finger being bitten. She looked over and saw that it was the guy. Frank had her finger in his mouth.
He was biting her?
Yeah. Burleson said it was the most bizarre experience of my
poodle
life.
lunatic.
I looked up and I saw that it was a person who was biting me. I screamed to stop, and he did. Burleson said that Malat later told her that he thought that he was biting one of the dogs.
Yeah, sure.
As the attack continued,
One of the dog's fingers.
an unidentified woman walked over, reached into the snarling pack, and pulled out Emma. She became an angel at that moment, Burleson said. I wish I could locate that person who lifted Emma up from that pack of bloodthirsty, crazed dogs.
Poodles.
It was a miracle. After she lifted Emma up, the dogs were jumping and tearing at her flesh and fur.
I thought you were going to say like French, like the larger poodles. These are just standard smaller poodles, yes?
No, those are miniature. Standard are the big ones.
Are they?
Yeah.
Well, then that would be an issue.
Emma received severe wounds and was rushed to an animal clinic where the doctor had to perform emergency surgery, and they're keeping an eye on this dog. The dog is in a pretty bad way. They're saying it's probably going to survive, but it's going to have some serious injury issues.
I love corgis.
Here's another animal story for you. Last one?
Yeah.
All right. About 10,000 minks are on the loose in Ohio. They were freed from their cages on an Ohio mink farm by unknown intruders. So there's 10,000 of them.
minks.
Yes. Minks are carnivores. They are known for attacking chickens and fish. So the chickens
This is going to be an issue.
Yes, they're
Yes,
not.
hi, this is Gene Simmons. I want to alert you to a potential chicken issue. Roving bands of mink. Is it minks or mink?
I think it says minks. So
Right, minks.
yeah, which is also a cat, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
MINX. They're not much danger to humans since they only grow about 3.5 pounds.
Luanda.
But officials warned that they do bite, by the way. All right, and there you go. That is the last story in the bizarre file.
You know what lives up to it? The chinchilla. You ever pet a chinchilla?
Oh, they're so soft.
It's just amazingly soft. It's almost hypnotic.
All right, and there you go. Your B-file, friends. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back in a second, and we're going to have comedian Ian Fidance, who's going to be here.
Yeah.
Performing at Punchline. And then after that, John O'Hurley is stopping by.
Peterman.
So hang out with us. We'll be back in a moment.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
Even better.
It's so good.
Even better.
It's talented. Barbershop.
That's just.
And they wear the most adorable little white pork pie
Straw hats and stuff. Yeah.
I'm glad you guys are having fun with this. These poor people in Hunting Park are dealing with all these damn rats.
Kathy, you just have to laugh, and same with these guys.
Yeah.
With the cold weather months approaching, neighbors fear the rats will only get more desperate. DeSinger says that he doesn't know how he can bring people safely into his business if there's rats in the drop ceiling. A spokesperson for the Philadelphia Department of Public Health said officials have been in the neighborhood to inspect the rat issue and are currently working to get into the lot legally. It's unclear when the problem will be resolved.
Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you
Rat. Hello. 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 Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal.
I would go see a show like that for sure. Wow. I had a little adventure yesterday. Do I have time to share a quick story, or should we break?
Yeah, we need to be out. You got plenty of time.
By 42.
I wanted to share this real quick because it's fresh and we'll never get around to it if I don't. But yesterday I went, and I'm not going to say where exactly I went, but I went to a medical appointment.
Right.
Yesterday. It has nothing to do with my butt or my, none of that. It was something
more
else.
Botox-ish.
No. But anyway, so I show up for this appointment. It's a new appointment for me. I've never been in this place before, and I need to go and fill out some paperwork ahead of time.
Right.
So they asked me to be there about, 15 minutes before my appointment. I showed up there about 20 minutes ahead of time. I walk into the reception area, and nobody's behind the reception desk.
Huh.
But I could get into that area.
Right.
It was a small little office that you come into, and there's a desk, and then the door that leads back to it was, like I said, it was a medical, so there's exam rooms back there. So I'm standing around, I'm waiting, and I wait about 5-10 minutes. Nobody's coming. And I'm like, okay. And I'm looking around, and I look behind the desk there, and I see a pair of glasses there. I see a glass with a straw in it. I see a pen with some notes written down next to it. I'm like, people have been here. This is not, I didn't show up to the wrong places. They have two offices. I'm like, okay, I came to the right office. I checked. I made sure. I checked my time. I actually spoke to them shortly before I got there. But yeah, you're going to be here. So I'm like, I know I'm on time. I'm like, what's going on? So I'm like, all right, well, I'll sit down, wait a few minutes, whatever. I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting. And it's just getting closer and closer to my appointment time. And as I'm waiting, an older woman walks in to the same office. She walks up to the front desk, kind of looks over there. And I go, hey, I've been sitting here for 15 minutes. Nobody's back there. And she had a little bit of an accent. She's like, well, they told me to call ahead.
Right.
And I call, and it says they're closed. And I go, yeah, well, nobody's here. She had kind of like, I can't do a Russian accent, but it was kind of like
I had the appointment.
Well, not that bad. But anyway.
I called to the phone for to be here to get teeth looked at, and I come and nothing.
All right, so.
Who are you? With your Mr. Lyle Lovett hairdo.
So anyway, she's standing there. She's.
And on weekends, travel to capital city and watch your ladies while they make a toilet.
So she's calling, and she's like, I'm going to call again. And she
Is that
calls-
okay with you, pretty boy?
While she's calling, the phone is ringing on the other side of the reception desk, and it goes to the voicemail, and it says they're closed. And so we're standing around. I'm like, well, I don't know what to do. I'm like, I'm gonna wait around for a few more minutes, and if they're not here, I'm gonna leave.
But you saw like a cup, like
there were clearly signs, and the more I thought about it, I'm like, it looks like they left in a hurry. I'm like, because they left stuff laying out, and I'm like,
did you start CSIing the site?
Well, I said, I hope it wasn't an emergency, or something like that. And she's like, I don't know. And I go, yeah. And I go, because look, and I started pointing out the evidence. The more I think about it, I'm like, well, maybe something did happen.
Did you slide the pencil into the barrel of the gun?
And the more I thought about it, I'm like, well, maybe something's going on back there.
Oh, wow. Now
okay.
you're like, so you do these escape rooms, so now you're doing something.
I may need Mission Impossible.
Okay,
Casey, if you don't mind, because says that, and then she goes, well, if I could, I would go back there.
I would
but
go back
can't.
to the rooms.
And I go, well, I could go back there. So we slid a chair over.
You climbed through the window?
And I climbed up over the top of the desk. Now, listen, they don't know this.
Right, yeah.
And they know who I am, and they're
They
hearing
know
this on
now.
the radio now. So I jump up on top of the desk. And if they have security camera footage, they'll see this.
Oh, we want to see that.
So I jump over the desk, and as I'm going back into the offices, I swear to God, this is what I'm thinking, Steve. If I round the corner, I might see dead bodies.
Oh, my
yes.
God, dude.
You don't know.
I might see, there may have been a crime committed here.
Or
I don't know. So
you might see some whoopee.
No. I wasn't expecting that. Or I'm going to be the hero because somebody's being held hostage at gunpoint.
Yeah.
And I'm going to come in and I'm going to save
Russian
the
lady,
day.
go take care of it.
So I kid you not, I started thinking about my Krav Maga training.
Oh, my God.
You got ready.
And I got ready and I jump over and I'm going, and I swear to God, I'm crouched down like this.
God, I hope they had surveillance video.
So that I would be able to move.
Be safe, hero.
Quickly if I needed to. And I'm like, I've got my back against the wall, and I'm turning and I'm peeking around corners. And I'm going, hello? Hello? And I'm looking around and doing this whole thing. Now, where the big mistake in my training that I didn't do is I didn't grab some type of a weapon.
Yeah.
Some type of thing that I might have
Like
needed.
the
But
straw.
I literally am looking and I'm like, okay, like the FBI would, like I would, quickly look at it and just move over the other way. And I walk through.
Morning show host, identify yourself.
It's okay. I'm a broadcaster.
This is the point in the horror movie where you're like, why would he do that? Why doesn't he just leave?
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that, Kathy. You're right. There's a demon.
Well,
in
you
the
want to try to
hallway.
save the hostages.
So I'm picking it, and there's like seven. It's a lot bigger than I thought it was back there. There's all kinds of rooms that I'm going through, and I'm looking.
The hell is this?
And eventually I see the office is at the end of the hallway, and I'm like, anything's going on, it's down there.
That's the room.
That's where they've got him.
There's a glow coming out from under the door.
And I'm thinking, I literally am thinking there's going to be a guy with his arm around someone with his hand over their mouth and a gun to their head or a knife to their throat. And I circle around and I look and I see that there's nobody there. And I'm like, clear, So, and right
was
about,
the Russian woman behind you?
no, she stayed
in
in
the waiting room.
She stayed in
Don't
the waiting
worry,
room.
I have your 6.
And so what I should have done is open the door so she should come in. She could come in and
Thank you.
and have my 6. But anyway, so I finally there was one other area I didn't go to, which was like it was like a closet. These doors, and I'm like, man, the bodies are in there. And I open it up. No, it's a giant nitrous tank.
Treasure.
I couldn't find anything.
You were back there for very long. What's happening?
Nothing. I was looking.
It's a giant nitrous tank, and right then, I hear, "Come back, come back, come back!" I hear the lady yelling for me.
Oh, no!
She's like, no. She's like, someone's coming. I'm like, I'm busted, man. She's like, because I thought they were gonna be in the room when I got out there.
Right.
She's like, no, I saw them go by the door because it had a glass,
a
glass out into the hallway, and there was another entrance to the back of the office back that way. She's like, I saw them go by
quickly.
So I come running back, and as I step back, they're making their way back into behind the desk, and I look up on the desk. And there's a giant footprint from where I stepped. And I casually walk over, Kathy, and I put my hand on, I'm like, hey, how you guys doing? And I'm wiping it off.
Clean it off.
I'm talking to him. Never said a word about it.
And they saw you on the other side of the divider?
It was like I was waiting in the room the whole time where I was supposed to be. And they were just running late. They had another thing they had to go do. And so,
what did the Russian lady say?
I thought about telling them. I thought about saying, but I went creeping around in their office.
Yeah, nah, just leave
But
it.
it was the best intention. I thought I was
You
going
were
to be
worried.
saving the day.
It is kind of weird to not unless, did they say it was an emergency of some sort? They knew they had an appointment. Why not leave a little sign back in 5 minutes?
I don't know.
Maybe
I didn't
it was
ask.
lunch and they were.
No, it wasn't lunch.
No?
They had to go to the hospital or something was going on. But anyhow, you should have seen me. I was crouched down.
Oh, that's great.
I was crouched down like this. I was in the mode, and it was very surreal. But
That's amazing.
that was a bit of an adventure yesterday.
So that would have been great if they walked in.
Oh
you
my
come
God.
back. You've
What
got
was I
the
gonna
nitrous
do,
tank.
man?
You've got the nitrous tank on your arm.
Yeah.
You've got some of the tranquilizers and yeah.
And you and the Russian lady are.
I didn't see anything.
Yeah. I didn't know how I was going to explain it
Oh,
if
man,
they
that's
came
funny.
walking in. But I had the best of
Listen,
intentions.
the place was empty. I'm gonna save them.
Man. All right. Well, anyhow, it was a great day. Bella Hadid is getting real about her mental health. The 25-year-old model shared a raw post Tuesday saying that her life isn't as picture perfect as it may seem.
Who's this again, Preston? I'm sorry.
This is Bella Hadid.
Bella Hadid.
Is that your favorite Hadid?
I vastly
Oh, come
last
on.
week was a Gigi week.
No way.
I have to admit it.
It's got to be.
I know Yolanda.
Yolanda Hadid.
No,
Well, that's the mom, right?
No.
No?
Now you're making fun of this legitimate thing here.
Which one lives?
Where do you stand?
One lives in the area, right?
Gigi's are
I think two
local,
of them.
right?
I think the mom and the daughter live here.
Well,
Which
I have
daughter?
nothing against Yolanda.
Which daughter, Kat?
Who's
Bella?
the-
Or,
It's Gigi.
Bella or Gigi?
Who just had the baby?
Gigi.
Gigi.
So
I'm
she
gonna say
shared,
it one more time. Gigi.
she shared a video of Willow Smith that resonated with her. In it, Smith talked about her insecurities and not feeling good enough. Hadid had also included a gallery of selfies of herself crying and a candid caption about her mental health.
I'm so tired of on on TikTok and Instagram videos of people filming themselves crying.
Oh, that's
you know?
not the first thing you think to do when you're
the crying reaction. Yeah, no, I don't do that.
Yeah, I'd like to get that kind of person.
Yeah, and remember the mom who was busted
Oh,
with the
man.
kid in the front seat,
Trying to make her kid
trying to
cry.
make the kid cry.
Yep.
There was. I just watched one of somebody crying. And I was like, oh God, here we go.
Knock it off.
Another one. But wait, she was opening her own boutique. And that's why she was crying.
She
She
was
was like,
happy?
this has been a long road, and it's finally here, and I'm so happy to bring this to you guys because now you can shop all of my clothes in person.
Let's check in a year when she's crying when it
My
fails.
clothes. I was like, what is this?
Hey, a lot of small businesses.
I know.
Statistically. All right, well, anyway.
Not mine. My boutique is going great guns.
Hadid wrote, I love you and your words. It made me feel a little less alone, and that's why I'd like to post this. So she was commenting on a video of Willow Smith. Hadid reminded followers that they are not alone and there is always light at the end of the tunnel. She said, this is pretty much my everyday, every night for a few years now. Social media is not real.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, for anyone struggling, please remember that. Sometimes all you've got to hear is that you're not alone. So from me to you, you're not alone. I love you. I see you and I hear you.
No, it's just like the Na'vi in Avatar.
I see you.
Yeah.
Self-help and mental illness chemical imbalance is not linear, and it's almost like flowing roller coaster of obstacles.
Okay, now she's losing me.
Ups and downs and size to size. Listen, people obviously, struggling with
depression.
Depression is a real thing. It's terrible. But you've got conflicting things here. Social media is not real, she writes. Anyone struggling? Listen, you can find support on social media, but you can also find exactly what is pushing you down.
And
You know
pushing
what I
your
mean?
buttons. It is a construct. And, and we've said before, initially, when it had a much more benevolent, at least to me, it felt that way in the early, hey, you're on this too, hey.
Yeah.
And there is a very, very destructive part of social media now. If you're going to be on it, know the difference and don't let the heavy stuff bring you down, man.
She wrote,
Right,
anyways,
Yolanda.
not sure why, but it feels harder and harder to share my truth on here. Thank you for seeing me, and thank you for listening. I see you. I love you.
So look at this picture here on Instagram. You had to hold the camera.
All right, what we're looking at is a picture of her crying. It's a close-up of her tears. She's looking away, and I mean, that looks like a posed photograph.
Yeah, it does.
I have never cried and been like, hold on, let me get my phone.
I got an update to the new OS. 1 second here. Wait a second. Why is this thing going through?
Wait, the flash is on.
How do you flip the camera? I can't flip the camera.
You have to angle it just right.
I mean, this is ridiculous. This is.
The light isn't right. Wait 1 second.
I need another one. Hold on.
Can you come take this for me, please?
Yeah, that's not what I'm thinking about when I'm crying.
Yeah.
Seriously.
She keeps opening the wrong app that looks like the app for the phone.
No, that's not the Instagram. No, that's
if you thought that Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga looked like a couple in love at the 2019 Oscars, it's because they planned it that way. I know that she has already said that, but he is finally saying something. He was talking to the Hollywood Reporter on Wednesday, and he had said that he wanted the performance to mimic the scene in the movie in order to help him manage his own fears about singing live. So I get it. Kathy, our next guest is going to be performing at Punchline in Philadelphia tonight and tomorrow. There are shows at 7:30 and 9:45, and he hails from Wilmington, Delaware.
He does.
Originally, and is excited to be here. Please welcome Mr. Ian Fidance to the show this morning.
Hi guys, thank you so much for having me. I'm a little dirty Delaware doozy, and I've been a lifelong fan of MMR and you guys. So this is fantastic.
It's awesome.
Thank
You came in
man.
very excited. That's so cool.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So years ago, you had. I mean, when did you? Now you're Brooklyn now, right?
Yeah. I live in Brooklyn. New
Okay.
York,
When did you make the big move?
Oh man, I moved to New York City in 2003 when I was 18.
All right.
And then I moved to Brooklyn in 2007. Been in the same apartment, same spot. I love it. I'm never leaving. Every relationship I have ends because of it. I'm like, it's my fault. I'm not moving.
Yeah. Well, you love it. What are you gonna do? Yeah.
But I moved back to Delaware for like 4 years.
You did?
at some
Okay.
point, yeah.
All right. But 18, you left and went for the big city at 18.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
By
it's
yourself?
crazy.
Did you know anybody there when you moved?
No.
Dude, that's a bold
ballsy.
move.
Yeah.
Did you love tax-free shopping?
Yeah, I know. And mommy. My mom was in Delaware. I was away. I was like, what am I going to do? You know? And it was right after, not even 2 years after 9/11. So every old person in my family was like, you're going to blow up. I was like, oh my God, what is happening?
Wait, was that a good time to move to New York after 9/11? Like, I mean, just as far as like real estate goes and prices, did that affect anything?
Bro, I was 18. I'm not, speculating on the market.
All right, that's fair.
Did you have this world-class mustache that you have now at 18?
Oh, no, that didn't come into like 2005.
Okay.
But yeah, I've been rocking that for a while. I want everyone to know I live in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So, I know.
That's your visual verification.
I know.
Pretty well groomed.
Thank you. I look like I listen to porn on vinyl.
Yeah, you do.
You know what though? You do it so well that it's immediately nostalgic.
Yeah.
Like it's not like creepy. It's nostalgically wonderful. Like I love seeing footage of Manhattan in the 70s, like around Taxi Driver time. It was the scuzziest place on earth, but it's bizarrely nostalgic. You know?
Yeah. I feel like I have that I'm like an old relic of the city. You know? And it's so funny. Like I used to be a carpenter in Delaware.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and I had the mustache then, and it just like looked everywhere I went, it looked like I needed a tool belt. You know? Yeah. And I used to get ripped with this guy at work, and he would always be like, "Hey man, WMMR, the rock we threw up with," because he'd show up to work hungover, you know, have the radio on.
Did you move to New York to do comedy, or did you go there for school?
No,
or?
I went there for school.
Okay.
Yeah. So I went there for school. I didn't start comedy until 2011 in Philly when I lived in Delaware because I moved back in like 2008.
Okay. What'd you go to school for? What were you hoping to?
I went to school for secondary English education.
Oh.
Yes. So I very much looked like Mr. Cotter. Teaching.
You know, though, that's an English, anything English, anything, you know, it's applicable.
Did you teach?
I did. Yeah, I taught in New York City public schools for years.
So what was your experience like there?
I mean, I'm a comic now. What do you think? It's terrible. I loved it. I taught at one of the worst schools. It was like top 5 worst schools in the country. It was Boys and Girls High in Bed-Stuy, which they changed the name. It's now They Them. They Them High. And no, it was great, dude. It was like I was a bad kid growing up. It was the best. I loved it. And I did teach middle school. I taught like test prep, you know, and I did teach middle school for a bit, and it was not.
It'll wear
me.
you down.
Yeah.
My brother went. You know, he English teacher years ago. My older brother did it actively for about a year and a half, 2 years, and then went into the Army.
Oh, wow.
And that was it.
Yeah.
His entire trajectory changed because, you know, some people are. I think you have to have it in your DNA.
Yes.
And that's just it. I mean, we've talked about my inability to teach people to do things is horrible.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to have an aneurysm if I have to teach my mom how to work a printer again, let alone, you know, children reading, you know. But it's like, dude, it's such an amazing profession. You have to have a mind. It has to be in your DNA. You have to have a heart for it. They're super underappreciated, especially with everything that goes on. But it was, you know, I mean, what can you say? I thank God. I was 18, and they're like, "What do you want to do?" I'm like, "I don't know. I like my English teacher. I guess I'll be that."
It's such an onerous thing to ask someone in that age group.
Yes.
What do you want to be? If you figure you're going to get doled out, so you're in your 20s, let's say optimistically, or late teens, another 50, 60 years, you know. What do you want to do for that? I don't know.
I know.
Yeah.
They were like, "What do you want to do?" I was like, "I guess I'll be a teacher." And I didn't know that I would eventually, it was in the cards, be a vicious alcoholic. I was like, well, you know, what can you do?
Luck of the draw.
Yeah.
Ian, I follow Punchline on Instagram, and I saw a bunch of videos pop up with you. And I'll be honest, the first thing that grabbed my attention was you wearing the Phillies hat, which you're wearing today as well.
Hey, thanks.
So I did a little bit more of a research, and you had interviewed Lenny Dykstra at one point.
Yes.
And it's a great story. So I want to ask you what that experience was like, and how much of that you'd like to share, because he's an interesting guy.
I mean, he's the best in the worst way possible.
Yeah.
I've never heard it put better.
Yeah.
And then the clock strikes midnight and get 12 again because he's the best again. You know, it's amazing. I grew up, obviously, Philly, Delaware guy. He's like a childhood hero.
Yeah.
I was at the 93 World Series, you know, and I have a podcast now called B and Ian with Jordan.
Right.
And I just hit him up on my buddy's podcast, Stuff Island, Tommy Pope, Chris O'Connor, they're Philly guys.
He'll just respond, like, especially on social media. He gets back to people.
Dude, he picked up the phone. I got his number and he picked up. You know? Yeah. And so I talked to him, and we didn't think he was going to show. It was like the 11th hour, and then he shows up at my door. He's got 4 bags, and he goes, "Hey, I'm excited. I even brought my teeth." It's like, let's go. You know? So it's just
hilarious.
insane that we're in. I turned my basement into a podcast studio.
Yeah.
he's in my basement in Brooklyn, and he's telling us these insane stories. Like legit, he wrote a book called Off the Rails of Nails or Nails.
Right, yeah.
I forget. It's a great book, but he told us stories that weren't in the book, and like when he was honestly, for his like reputation as being a nutball, he couldn't have been more like kind, generous with his time, like introspective. It was amazing.
Yeah, we had him on, and he was really good. He's what you want him to be, Lenny Dykstra,
Yes.
and he does not disappoint.
Yes.
And then I think there was that story talking about his teeth, about him losing his dentures. He was at a fast food restaurant.
He went in a dumpster,
and spent
right?
like 7 or 8 hours intensively dumpster diving with fans of Lenny Dykstra to recuperate.
He like asked for help, didn't he? And
Oh
people-
yeah.
I know.
Can you help me find my teeth in the dumpster?
Well, they used to have a thing at Veterans Stadium. It was like fan night. You'd buy tickets and like you could meet them. And we did a raffle, and I got his bat. That was like huge. And who knew years later the next raffle would be finding his teeth at a fast food restaurant. You know?
When you listen to him, you never are quite sure if everything that he's saying is true. They're great stories,
Right.
But I believe that he subscribes to the belief of never let the truth get in the way of a good story. Because some of it, it quite literally is unbelievable.
I don't know, dude. I think he is so crazy that you have no option but to believe it.
Yeah.
Like, dude, he told a story about how he spent $500,000 hiring private investigators to bribe major league umpires to lower the strike zone so that he could bat 400. Like insane.
That's insane.
He's telling a story, and he's just so old school baseball. He's like, so I step up to the dish, you know, and like he told one story about how he was so hungover at the end of his career on a Sunday he wouldn't play because they'd give him the day off because he was so banged up. And he walks in the dugout, and Fergosi looks at him, and he goes, Lenny, you're leading off. And he's like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. There's no cocktail that'll get me ready to play. So he steps up, and he goes, I go up to the dish, and the umpire was like a heavy guy. And he goes, I know what I'll do. I'll get kicked out of the game. So the first ball comes in, strike right down the middle, and he turns around, and he goes, you fat son of a bull, why don't you have another cheeseburger? And the guy looks at me and goes, Lenny, Jimmy already told me. If I got to be out here all day, so do you. It was amazing. 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 Yeah. And dude, we're on there, and like, dude, he's a Philadelphia icon, childhood hero, and we're like laughing, talk with him, and there were kind of these like cool moments where we're looking at each other like, dude, can we believe this? This is crazy. Like, I just took a dump in my bathroom upstairs. You know? Yeah, it was great.
So what'd you think about this recent run, for the Phils? It was pretty amazing.
Amazing. Nobody thought it was going to happen.
Right. Did you make any games?
No, no. I mean, I work all the time. I'm on the road. It's tough, In 2008, I was at Game 3 and both Game 5s.
Oh, wow.
And, friends of mine at the time had season tickets, and they, shared them and everything. And now they have, like, children of their own, and they're not really going to hand over their child's tickets to me.
The guy looks like a porn star.
Yeah. Hey, it's Uncle Ian. But a couple of my friends went, and they were at the game where it was a million dingers, and that was amazing.
Yeah,
but
Game 3.
Like I said, I was working everything, so I downloaded a radio app on my phone, and I have a headphone in, like at gigs, like waiting to go on stage.
Wow.
The last game, I was headlining in Cleveland. I'm on stage. It was at a rock venue, and there was one TV, and I made them turn it on while I was on stage.
Wow.
So I could watch the game while I was performing, and I'm in the middle of a joke, and I'm like, so anyway, the subway, home run! Home run! But then, of course, I saw the score change. I'm like, have you guys ever seen a live suicide?
That's pretty wild, man. That's commitment.
Yeah.
So when you were in Wilmington, and you were a musician as well, yes? A bass player?
No. I played guitar. I was in a ska band.
Ska band.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, big ska fan.
What was the name of the band?
Sock Full of Pennies. PENNYZ. And, I know everyone's waiting with bated breath. Yes. yes, we have put our music back on Spotify. Okay, iTunes, Spotify. Check it out. Yeah.
So that's a big passion. You're a big punk and ska fan, yeah?
Yeah, and hardcore. And Catbite is my favorite ska band right now. They're from Philadelphia. They're fantastic. And I did a non-music music video where they came out to Brooklyn and we put on like a live show, and I was the singer of the band. And like a music video, we lip synced, but instead of the song, we lip synced my jokes. And it's my buddy Tom Cassidy came up with like the concept of the non-music music video. And we did. It's amazing. They were so generous with their time. And I love ska. I mean, I have a ska ring. I just came up.
Serious? Were you part of a book as well, or a ska appreciation book? I was reading something. I didn't know if that was you or...
Yeah, there's a book called In Defense of Ska.
Oh, that's it.
And I just enjoy it. But on the second publishing, he's going to have me do like a blurb on the back, which is so cool.
So if you're doing ska and you're punk and you're hardcore, I assume you invested some time in stage diving. I mean, how hardcore were you? Were you...
Oh, dude, don't talk about it in the past. I still do it.
Do you?
Bro, I give my glasses to a stranger and jump in the pit, and get winded after 2 windmills karate kicking, and then I'm like, I got to take a break, you know? I'm showing up to gigs. I went to see Turnstile in Brooklyn, and the next day I'm at the Comedy Cellar, and I'm like, I can't turn my neck. Right. But I love it. It's the best, man. Coming up in that scene, dude, I used to go to the
Mosh pits and everything?
Yeah. Trocadero, First Unitarian Church, Electric Factory. There's this band I listen to called Carried by Six, and it's cool because they now, like, I'm fans of theirs, they're fans of, they come out to shows, we do like shirt trades and stuff. It's really neat, man. There's a lot of similarities between comics and musicians.
So there is a certain energy. It's funny because we have a punk trio, Froggy. These young, they're just in their late teens, early 20s. And
that's cool.
They played the MMRBQ. They did a little side stage thing for us. And as they're playing, there's something about it. A pit, like a moshing circle formed. Yeah. And you know, they can be great, but they can also, you know, they can turn south quickly. Were you ever in one that got way out of hand?
Oh, yeah. I got punched in the back of the head at Hatebreed and E-Town Concrete at the Electric Factory back in like 2002. And I'm showing up to, you know, English class the next day with like a concussion. And it's like my dog didn't eat my homework. I was just knocked out.
I was throttled,
you know?
I wasn't even aware like the ska movement is still really happening. I mean, because I grew up listening to bands like the Specials and Fishbone and stuff like that. But still, like with horn sections and everything like that, still kicking.
Totally,
I love it. I love that music.
It's almost
kinetic.
Like bigger than ever, and I enjoy. I'm very like musical, and as a comic, I try to be like energy music on. I'd rather be like I've always wanted to be the lead singer of a band, so I'd rather be that on stage than just like, you know, I try to bring that energy to the stage. And I'm actually the official MC of the Supernova International Ska Festival.
Wow.
In 2023. And Fishbone is there, the Pie Tasters, the Specials. It's in Virginia Beach.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Dude,
it's really
awesome.
neat, man. Yeah.
So, wow. So,
I think Catbite was one of Jackson's local shots last year. I know that name. And I think they have a connection with MMR, and they're touring. They're
great, man. They just started headlining.
Ska musicians tend to be really good musicians.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's so funny because they're like band geeks.
Yeah.
Like you have to be a talented musician to play the trumpet, trombone, and sax, and to combine that, you know, with the other instruments while you're like dancing and sweating and being goofy. It's like you're really talented, but people don't recognize it because so many people concentrate on how much they hate the music.
I don't know how you can hate it.
It's so happy. It makes you feel better, you know?
Yeah.
I think any form of bad news should be given with ska, you know?
Did you ever see
it's like, it would be an easier pill to swallow to find out your parent died if Real Big Fish was playing in the background, you know?
I agree. What were you going to say, Gabe?
There's this guy, and I believe he works with a drummer. You had to have seen this footage. It's on YouTube. He's a giant saxophone player. He plays in the subways of New York City.
Yes.
Okay.
That dude, I forget the name, but I've seen that. He's playing this huge sax. He's skanking, and it's such a good groove.
He's got a giant, like, colored mohawk.
Yeah.
Really?
And, like, the way he dances
Yes.
as he's playing the saxophone is just insane.
Mm-hmm.
And it just brings me so much joy. Yes. This is
That's
the guy.
the guy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like,
Oh,
so
I've seen that guy,
we're
yeah.
just watching the footage, but it doesn't mean anything unless you're listening to the music with it as well. But, like,
I think it literally says on YouTube, the coolest saxophone player ever. You know? Yeah, you said it, joy. That's what it's about.
You ever done any busking? Have you ever done, played for on the street corner or something just for the hell of it?
I mean, that was my pandemic. Are you kidding me? New York was like the only place in the country that hit the ground running with shows. And thank God for it. It kept me alive, you know. I mean, in June of 2020, we were playing parks, rooftops, alleys, streets, sidewalks, parking lots. I played, David Tell, and Big J Okerson went down to DC, played RFK Stadium for 350 cars.
Wow.
Not people, people in their cars.
We emceed a few where we did one for Bert Kreischer here at the Citizens Bank Park. It was crazy.
Brutal.
Yeah, brutal. But
You're getting honks. People aren't late. You're honking. And it's like, do they like me? Do they hate me? Is there a guy behind me that they're warning me about? You know, it's crazy. Yeah, there it is.
David Tell is, and Big J, good friends of the show. Tell is so awesome. He's so state of the art. But I don't. Putting him in a car, comedy show, one of those things. I wonder how that would fare. How did he do?
Incredible.
He did.
He's the greatest of all time. Man.
Yeah,
he is a comedy Jedi, and I've been so fortunate enough to open for him. He's taken me on the road since 2018. And it's honestly a masterclass in comedy. Watching him do an hour and he brings me up on stage with him at the end of the night.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah, you literally
do the bump mics.
Yeah, well, we don't bump, but we do the same thing, like back and forth, and it's insane. It's made me such a better comic because it's taught me to take risks. Because with him, I could say anything and he will immediately make it funny.
Yeah.
So it gives you this confidence of like, okay, try the thing that you think and you might hit.
Right.
And if you don't, he's gonna destroy you for it.
If you're just jumping in, it's Ian Fidance who's here is going to be at Punchline tonight and tomorrow. Now, this is your first time on our show.
Yeah.
And but do you play Philly a bunch or?
Yeah,
because I'm shocked you haven't been by here before.
Yeah, I just this is my first like club headline weekend in Philly. I've done like other shows at like Helium or like rock venues or anything, but this is the first
like one nighters and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I'm just now like headlining weekends and like going all across the country and like it's great. I love it. It's the dream,
Yeah. So are you gonna are you staying at home while you're down here this weekend? Or
Well, that's what I usually do. I stay at my mom. Actually, I'm going to my mom's house in Delaware after this and picking up her car,
fixing her printer.
Yeah. And I'm staying in Old City, and I'm so excited because I'm going to do a walk-in and get a tattoo at Old City Tattoo. I'm like
really?
I love tattoos.
What are you getting?
I don't know. I'll pick it off the wall.
Are you tatted up now?
Stop.
We can't
I
tell.
am. Yeah, I'm covered.
You'll pick it off the wall?
Yeah.
Can I pick it for you?
I was just going to say, can we pick it?
Yeah.
It's if you pay for it. Yeah, take it and pay.
Yeah.
No, it's American traditional. It's
okay.
It's like classic American traditional. It's been around for 100 years, and there's a reason why like they're so iconic on the wall and people have them. And so I'm covered from like the waist down.
Let's see a couple. I haven't seen.
You want me to take it out?
You want me
to take it out? No, I'll take it out.
Take it out. What, like on your arms?
No, waist
No, he
down.
said waist down.
waist down. I'm sorry, I didn't.
Take his
Never
pants
mind.
off.
No, take
I'm wearing shorts
Okay,
underneath
all right,
because
all
it's
right.
so cold, and
All right,
I
all
walked and took the bus here.
Let's see. Oh yeah.
Oh, wow.
Wow, the legs are covered. And so
And look at that, Preston. It's a Phillies tattoo.
Wow. Left
That's
shin.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should get a Lenny Dykstra tattoo.
Yeah, maybe I'll get his teeth.
You know what? And I prefer that kind of look that you got going on there, Ian. Everybody's got their own style. You have the constant blending together of everything, or you have each tattoo is their own separate thing,
Yes.
which is what you have going on. I always kind of preferred that. I think
Thank
that
you.
looks pretty cool.
Thanks. Yeah, you know, I have started to wear shorts on stage because I move around so much and I sweat and it's very off-putting. So I wear shorts. Yeah, so I don't sweat as much, and it looks like I have the most expensive pair of pants on. My tattoos.
Well, the good thing with that approach to I guess they've really been able to mitigate the fading of tattoos, but certain color schemes and certain styles tend to age better. Yeah. I think what you have over the long run will retain its look. Do you know what I'm
Thank
saying?
you. Yeah, that's American traditional.
Yeah,
it's classic, basic colors, amazing, like old school designs. It's a 20/20 rule. It looks good for 20 years, and you can see it from 20 feet away.
Real quick, have you become, because Steve is a winter shorts guy?
No,
dude. I
mean, that is a bald white guy thing.
Yeah,
and you're nailing it.
Yeah, I mocked it, and I became winter shorts guy. Now I'm not, because I had a little bit of a cold. I'm not contagious. I'm over that now. All good. But I take out shorts. I have these hiking shorts that are thicker, and I'm like, I'm not cold when I'm wearing shorts in the winter, but man, I would vilify the winter shorts guy, and I've become this guy.
I love it. I love it. Live your best life. I used to make fun of my grandfather so much for how he dressed, and now I am truly a pop-pop. It's like you dress for the job you don't want. You know?
Yeah. Oh, God. Listen, we got to wrap up, Ian. It is great to finally meet your acquaintance.
Such a pleasure. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, our pleasure. And we're happy to point people in the direction of Punchline. So tonight and Saturday shows at 7:45 and 9:30. You can go to punchlinephilly.com. So next time you got shows, swing by here, all right?
Absolutely, in a heartbeat. Yeah, and thanks for everyone for coming out to the shows, man. I appreciate it so much, and you guys are the best. This was so fun. Thank you. Yeah.
Ian Finance, guys.
Yeah.
Going to take a break, and we'll be right back. And John O'Hurley will be joining us in the studio. Stay there.
Preston and Steve.
On 93.3 WMMR. What's new?
I'm sorry, it was at the Oscars.
At the Oscars, he's in front of the world, basically.
Yeah.
He's singing this song. They obviously have a very strong friendship.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it was. So it's friends, lovingly,
and
you know.
They're performers.
Yes, they're liars.
They know they're playing a role. They're having fun with it.
They're paid liars.
So Cooper added, he said he shared, just from a personal standpoint, it reduces the anxiety level.
Well, listen, we're very good friends with Bradley Cooper.
We are.
And we know the way he is.
Incredibly
And we
close.
know how nervous he gets
Yes.
in situations like this. So if you knew him the way we knew him.
Steve, I sometimes will just place my hand on his knee.
Yeah.
And just a little touch.
Yeah.
A little human touch.
Makes a difference.
Calms him down a bit.
Yeah. I can't believe you guys haven't brought up the fact that, like, Steve and I look at each other like that when we sing the Safe Light song.
Absolutely.
We totally get
It's
that.
so beautiful.
That's
right?
true.
Yeah.
Every single time.
I just thought I'd let you guys have that. I didn't want to bring it out into the open.
I always say, find someone in your life who looks at me the way Casey looks at me during the Safe Light song.
Yeah.
Can we get that right now? Can you guys do that?
Casey's so
I just love him so much.
Let's do it. We can do it. Ready?
the microphone for a
Turn away and then turn and look at each
Okay.
other. All right.
Hang
Just
on
give
a
us a
second.
countdown.
I got to get in the character.
All right, hold it,
Okay.
everybody. 3, 2, 1.
Safe light repair, safe light replace.
Oh my God. The
Wow.
lovely kiss was
That
blown.
was-
If we could get it, I don't know if it's possible to get a split screen on that or not.
And see, there's no
play that
real love there. That's all acting.
No.
They lie.
Well, you know what? You can't sing those words without being moved. They're not only repaired, but replaced.
Yes. As if the repair wasn't enough.
You fixed me, and then you made me all new again.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And they'll
I'll
come-
repair
they'll-
you. I will
I
never
will come
replace
to where
you.
you are
Yeah.
if you're at your daughter's dance recital.
That's right.
Bradley Cooper added that they kind of fall in love in that scene in the film. It's that explosive moment that happens to them on a stage in front of thousands of people. And it would have been so weird if we were both on stools facing the audience. So that's why they did it that way.
This is actually the first time that they rehearsed. They sang the Chicken Pot Pie song, Preston.
Wait, do you want to do Safe Flight Repair like that now? We're looking at the video where they're kind of heads leaning against each other. Oh, no. Oh, yes, we're going to get this now.
Well, you got to come behind because you got to come behind me because you're taller.
Like this? Yeah. We are getting this on camera, right?
Yeah. Well, where's the camera at? Here? Yeah. Can you count us off, Preston?
3, 2, 1.
Safe Light Repair. Safe Light Replace.
Dear God in heaven.
Wow. How was that? Was that good? Thank you.
I was convinced.
Bravo!
Thank you. Can I just? We are involved with other people.
Yes.
I have the deepest respect for Diane, and I know Casey.
And Claire. And your cats.
And my cat.
More on the creepy side for me.
You don't know what that song means to us.
I know, I guess.
Sounds a little jealous, does she not?
I'm getting that.
I think you guys. I don't think you were harmonizing though. I think you were in unison on that.
Our hearts were harmonized.
Our hearts were harmonized. So the monetary donations for Camp Out for Hunger continued until the day before Thanksgiving, and the final tally of money that you donated at Acme Markets is $1,454,710.
Just amazing.
And that added to our final monetary donation, with everything added in, for Camp Out for Hunger this year was $1,802,000 to help feed people in this area.
Oh, my God, another banner year.
$1.8 million, and you put that on over 2.3 million pounds of food.
I mean, again, another situation where you figured, how are they, how are we going to get to that point? How are we going to top the miracle that was last year? And look what, people just step up. They're amazing.
Yep, it's pretty incredible. So thank you. Before we get into our concert announcement and music news, Nick, what were you laughing so hard at right before that started? Or do we even want to know?
You want to know.
Okay.
I just want to take a seat, Preston, and I got my little chair here.
Oh,
and I didn't do it again. Oh, there we go. And somehow, Casey found a way to rig it so that it just slowly descends.
I took video. I took video.
Okay.
You did?
How did you do this?
All right, so stand up and you'll see.
Because it'll go back up.
Yeah. So there's a handle that will allow you to lower the seat, and I assume he taped it, right?
He tied it.
I tied it with a bandana.
That took work. I'm impressed.
So it just sinks down slowly.
I was just so glad.
Cool.
I didn't know how I was going to react, and I was just so grateful that it didn't
slam down
and have you fall.
You got to be careful.
All I heard was everybody in on this but me?
You had your headphones on. I think.
Saw Casey come over here and tie it, and I go, "Are you trying to kill him?" And he goes, "No, but his chair will sink when he sits in it."
Where'd you get that idea?
I don't even know.
It came out of nowhere.
It came out of nowhere. I saw the bandana sitting there.
Okay.
And Nick wasn't there. I was like, I wonder if I could. I mean, it was like lightning fast how the synapses were firing.
Okay. Not as permanent, but definitely some pain involved. Florence Pugh, the actress, recently pierced her nose, but confessed that she fainted in the process.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Really?
She captioned an Instagram photo that says, "When you want to be a cool grown-up and get a cool new piercing and you instantly fail, go green and then faint."
All right, so Kathy, did you faint when you got your not your ears pierced, but you got your belly button pierced?
No, I didn't.
She had a nipple pierced.
I didn't.
I
faint.
didn't want to bring that up.
What's that?
I didn't want to
How
bring
can
that
you
up.
not bring that up? You're obligated to bring that up. Are you kidding me?
Case, my problem is looking at it. If I see it happen, I'm out like a light.
Okay, so Florence went with the septum, the middle part.
Okay.
I dig. I like a nose piercing, like the
off to the side.
Yeah, the nostril.
Yeah.
What do they call it? That's usually a stud, is it not? Yeah.
Stud.
Yeah. The septum thing. Sometimes it looks like you got boogers hanging out of your nose.
It's just gross.
I don't like that. Yeah, the booger thing is real.
I do like the stud.
Yeah.
I think that can be cute.
It's good if you're a bull. I think it works quite nicely.
My girlfriend has one.
She has a septum piercing?
Yeah.
She does?
I didn't know that.
I never even noticed.
Yep, she has it. She doesn't wear it all the time, and she removed it for several years, and then put it back in recently, and it never closed, which she was surprised by.
Wow.
I wasn't. Yeah, but looks good on her.
What does she wear? Is it a hoop?
Like a little hoop. Yeah,
There it is.
A little hoop.
Yeah, I wasn't saying that I don't like that. I just prefer the stud. But so speaking of bull, Steve, when I was a kid, we had the shower curtain rings.
Yes.
I would take those off the shower curtain and put them in my nose like I was a bull.
Startling revelation on the Preston and Steve show this morning.
Okay.
Casey Boy, producer, admitted he used shower rings to look like a bull. We go down to Jimmy Glashevsky outside of One Ballot Plaza. Jim, what's going on out there? Crowd has already started to form, Tom. People want to get the exclusive on the interview.
Okay.
Can I go down for an interview?
All right, so let me ask you this: Would you look in the mirror and make noises?
Well, I don't know about the noises, but everything I did, dude.
Did you make a face?
I spent so much time in front of the bathroom mirror as a child. I used to pierce my own ears. I would I'd spend a lot of time making fases and
Wow.
I know.
But
You guys make fun of me.
Yeah.
And then he would go back to college.
I was just curious what level you took it to. Would you actually stomp on the ground?
No.
You never do anything
That'd
like
be
that?
stupid, Preston.
Yeah, come on, man.
He was just making faces in the mirror.
It's just silly. By the way, to make Casey feel better, if you've ever taken a shower ring and pretended to be a bull, text in and let us know.
Please
about
let
it.
us know.
And if you have one now and you could do a picture, we'd love to see
Yeah,
it.
that'd be great.
Without a doubt, I am not the only one to ever do that.
No, listen, I'm sure. I'm
Without
sure
a
I've
doubt.
done it, for Christ's sake.
Someone in America
Yeah.
has done it.
There's probably a commune of people who do nothing but that.
Here's a supportive one.
Is that a BR commune? Yeah, that's a bull ring
Here,
commune.
this says, I used to pretend I was the bull in the Bugs Bunny cartoons.
Yeah.
So there you go.
And this guy, he and his cousin used to put helmets on and use red tablecloths to charge at each other like bulls. But he
One
didn't
was a
think,
bull and one was the matador.
Yeah.
He says, didn't think of the shower curtain ring, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The accessory you never knew you needed.
I know this is like Hollywood celebrity news, but why did they put the ring in the bull's nose? What was that all about?
You know, I think that's how they would actually lead the bull.
Yeah, I think they could
Oh!
connect. They could connect a lead to it.
Okay.
And
That makes
or they could
And most
essentially leash them up somewhere, and,
right.
and they're not going to go anywhere.
And isn't the fact that most bulls are goth, sort of? They're
Yeah, I
the
think so.
gauges and stuff.
Yeah, they do the
Most of them.
Yeah.
stuff
body
too.
mod.
Yeah. All right, let me see. Nick, anybody texting in? One person said they've done the shower curtain ring in the nose thing, but I don't know if they were pretending to be a bull or not.
No,
It
it could have
does
been,
not.
something entirely
I
different.
don't necessarily. I wasn't. You guys said I was pretending to be a bull.
You said have a piercing?
No,
you did.
Well, I got the idea from the bull, right? Like
I got the
I
idea
never
from
made,
the bull.
I got the idea. I didn't.
Why don't you pretend that you're me?
Let the court record show that Preston, you asked if I made noises like a bull, and I did not.
I thought that was
I
after
would like
you
to have audio
intimated.
from what we spoke about earlier, because you said I
Yeah.
would look in the mirror
Yeah.
and pretend to be a bull.
All right, let's check it. We
we
have
have
a
to-
way of finding
We
out.
have to check the tape. You
We
may
do.
be right. But
Well, what did you do?
I put a shower ring on my nose like an idiot.
For what reason?
I don't
To look like a bull.
To look like a bull, I
That's
guess.
what
I don't know.
That's what I think he said.
All right.
But we could be wrong.
But I
Maybe
didn't
we just
pretend to be a
assumed.
bull. There's a difference. There's a difference between trying to look like a bull and
pretending to be a bull.
Yes.
Pretending means you would adopt a lifestyle.
And I would not do that.
Right.
Because, bulls are ornery creatures, man.
I don't like the way they live.
her ornery creatures, man.
Yeah, that was my Lebowski right there.
That's what
I thought you were doing like you almost
Austin
sounded like
Powers.
Austin Powers.
No, that was more Lebowski than anything
They're
else.
ornery creatures, man.
I'm a Brahma bull, baby.
Kathy, I'm trying to reel this back.
You are?
Yeah, I'm trying.
Started it.
Jesus.
Holy moly.
Okay.
All right.
I'm going to move on to another story.
Okay.
We'll wait and find out that we'll find the tape.
Don't
here.
worry, we'll go back to this.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it may run through the entire show this morning. We have a clip of you from earlier
Okay,
on the show,
all right.
so we'll see. Let's see what this is. This was Casey. Let's see if he says he would pretend to be a bull or not. Here we go.
So speaking of bull, Steve, when I was a kid, we had the shower curtain rings.
Yes.
I would take those off the shower curtain and put them in my nose like I was a bull.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Like I was a bull. I didn't
For the
say I
very first time.
I think there's a difference between pretending to be a bull and
Adopting the lifestyle.
I didn't go.
One could say that there's a point at which they sort of Venn diagram a little bit.
So
Yeah.
if you put on clown makeup,
Right.
like a full clown makeup, the wig and everything,
And I didn't do the voice and all that stuff.
you're not pretending to be
I'm
a
just
clown. at that
dressed like
point.
a clown.
Okay, so you
Okay.
were
Yeah.
dressed like a bull.
Yeah.
You were just dressed like a bull.
That's it.
Where are you going out looking like a bull? Where are you going to tonight looking like a bull?
Casey, you've been vindicated. Congratulations. Amber has an interesting tradition. I'm going to go to her. Amber, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Hey, what's up, Amber?
Not much. The Christmas trees, the prices have been so crazy the last, 10 years or so.
Yeah.
We kind of started a new tradition in our family. When we go out to get the Christmas tree, we go up to someone, we just ask them for, show us the ugliest Christmas trees that you can, and we kind of make a game and see how pretty we can make it.
So you
And we usually just
like
give them to her.
like Charlie Brown it up then?
Yeah,
I love
as
it.
early as we can get it, and I tell my daughter every tree deserves a Christmas.
That's a good.
Yeah.
I like that.
No, that's cool. If you can do that, that's I'm down with that.
So you take an
Yeah.
ugly tree and you try to make it a beautiful tree.
Yeah, and you have they come out awesome, but when we first bring them in the house, it's like, oh my God, they have 3 needles on them.
My wife tells the story of my father-in-law. They were 9 kids and a huge family, and they'd get a lesser level tree, and my father-in-law would get a drill, very handy. He would remove branches from the back of the tree, drill holes, and put
It's like a hair replacement for men.
Basically, is what he was doing, and
funny.
fill out the tree.
All right.
And so they would get the tree up to decorating
I love
level,
that.
and it looked great.
That woman, Amber, said something that I think could be turned into a Christmas story. Every tree deserves a Christmas.
Yeah.
I think that could be a kid's book, don't you think?
Or the loneliest tree at the lot, the one that doesn't.
Yeah.
Right. That's overlooked all the time.
But then a wonderful thing happens. It gets thrown into a wood chipper.
Right.
WMMR.
All right, thank you very much, Kathy. We love when our next guest has the opportunity to stop by, and he's in for the event that has become a tradition in his life now, and ours as well, because he loves to stop by here for the event. It is the National Dog Show, and it is taking place this weekend, and it's at the Feli Expo Center in Oaks, Pennsylvania. It's going to be a 2-hour special on Thanksgiving Day, noon to 2 on NBC.
We watch it every year.
Yes, and we love having him here. Please welcome Mr. John Hurley.
Nice to be here. Thank you. And I love the slap bass. That makes me feel good.
Very good, sir.
We were saying how associated as you were coming in, yet there's a sort of a benign feeling when you come in because it's like, oh, Thanksgiving's here. And all these wonderful things associated with it. But the dog show itself is just a juggernaut. I mean, it's become
Hasn't it
huge.
become 21 years we've been doing it. Usually I kill shows before that. But this one seems to be blessed with permanence, doesn't it? Yeah. It'll far outlive me. I know that.
I think people have described it as a less stuffier Westminster.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's obviously we've gone through the history of it and how it was sort of created off of Best in Show and all that stuff. But this does have the nuance of having a dog show where the dogs are approachable, right? There's a point at which you can.
Well, it's a benched show, and it's probably the only one left in the country, if I'm correct, because Westminster is no longer benched.
Right.
But it has a...
And by benched, you mean...
I'm sorry, let me describe that. Benched means that the dogs, the owners, the handler, everybody remains backstage.
Right.
In the convention center. So you get to walk up and down the aisles and touch and handle and pet and the...
Ask permission first.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
And but there are 2,000 of the best dogs in the country. They're all breed winners at one point in order to be in the dog show. But it's just an extraordinary experience.
Yeah.
Because most people know 4 or 5. You grow up in a neighborhood and you know 4 or 5 different breeds. There are 208 now that are registered with the AKC. Isn't that something?
Wow.
And every shape, size, with hair, without hair. You can imagine. I mean, it's really remarkable when you think of how many breeds they are. And the fact that this celebrates the rich history of breeding, the fact that dogs were not only companions, but more so they really were. They helped us survive.
Right.
They did the farming, the pulling, the drafting, and everything that were necessary.
The first dog was a Great Dane, and Great Danes, as I understand, were bred to fight bears and things of that nature. They were that kind of.
And they also think they're lap dogs. So
yeah. Oh my God, they do. Yes.
If you've ever had a Great Dane back up into you and just plop itself right on your lap.
Hey, speaking of large dogs and a record breaker, because if I'm correct about this, Best in Show last year and the year before, the exact same dog won back to back.
Yes,
Claire,
and
right?
this was a Scottish deerhound.
A Scottish deerhound,
They
which
are
is not
massive.
it's interesting. They are big.
Yes.
dogs. It kind of very large and stringy, kind of way to describe it. I'm not really drawn to that breed, just personally, but I tell you, that dog was absolutely won my heart.
Yeah.
It was such a wonderful, both from the demeanor and just the way it handled itself. It was elegant.
Right.
A coarse-haired dog you wouldn't think is elegant, but just the way it bounced around, and it was really, really wonderful. Well, you're seeing it behind you.
Is there a chance for a three-peat? Will Claire be in this year's show?
I wish I had more information on that, but I don't.
Okay.
I don't know whether Claire is registered, but if she is, she's got my vote.
Does the mob ever approach you to throw this event?
the over and under, yeah. Well, what is funny is because we do this over the weekend, and it airs on Thanksgiving Day. Well, many people thought it was live. Nobody ever puts it together that you can't have an 8-hour show in 2 hours.
Sure,
you just can't do that.
Right.
So anyway, but I would tell people who won Best in Show if they asked, and they would always appear the smartest person in the room on Thanksgiving Day.
That's
but
great.
I do have friends that for several years
have been betting.
That were betting. Yes.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, there's how you game the system.
It lets you know the group I hang around.
How elegant is that dog that looks like a mop?
You're talking about the Pekingese. Yeah, how elegant it is. Well, that's the show cut. You could be walking that dog backwards for 2 years and you wouldn't realize it.
They are great.
And I saw that dog for the first time at the dog show, or, when it was on TV, and I'm like, what? I didn't even know this thing existed.
The little Pekingese. Yeah, well, most people don't have. The show cuts are different than the way that we would probably cut them around. If you were to see the puppy cut on that dog, you'd say you wouldn't recognize it as a Pekingese, but the show cut.
Right, you get a Mr. Universe away from the contest stage, and he's going to look a lot softer.
He's got a couple rolls down there.
Kath,
exactly.
I think you're talking about the commander or commander.
It is not. Yeah,
no, the Commodore you're talking about. That's a corded dog that has it looks like Whoopi Goldberg. Has somewhere a cross between a car wash and Whoopi Goldberg. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yes, that's the one I was talking about.
Did you enter this? And I don't know if we ever asked you this about your association with the event. Did you enter as a pretty informed dog aficionado, or as an increased exponentially because of your association?
I'll remind you of the first year that I was the host with David Fry, and they brought the Old English Sheepdog up to the judge.
Right.
If you don't know what an Old English Sheepdog is, it's 80 pounds of hair and 2 pounds of actual dog. They brought the Old English Sheepdog up to the judge, this elegantly gowned woman, and she walks around to the back, and she starts picking through all of the hair, putting her hands all over the dog. And I turned to David, and I said, David Fry, the most knowledgeable man in the world of dogs, I said, David, can you explain what she's doing? He's She's putting her hand on the dog to make sure that the shoulders and the hips align with the written specification of what the perfect Old English Sheepdog should be. He said, because you can hide a really bad dog with a really good haircut.
Yeah.
And I said, you're telling me? I went to junior prom. And it gets worse. She walks around to the front. She starts picking through all of the hair on the dog's face. And I said, David, what is she doing now? He says, John, she's trying to find the eyes to gauge the attentiveness of the dog. And I said, really? I said, well, if she picks through all of that hair and she finds only one eye, she's got the wrong end of the dog.
That's the attitude.
That's a long answer to your question of was I an aficionado? No, I had no idea what I was doing.
You were a dog fancier, though.
Oh, no, absolutely. I've had a dog ever since I can remember, and I've written 3 books on the topic. The first one I wrote, and I still abide by this, I'm a better person with a dog in my lap.
Well, there is, as of late, I've seen more and more people who were sort of reticent to bring dogs into their lives, and I don't know if this is a product of the pandemic or whatever, but realize they're a gift. They really are. There's just Preston, you love your dogs, and Casey, and my dog we just had to put down recently, but it is that sort of. either you get it or you don't. But I'm finding more and more people are now getting it. And
well, during the pandemic, there was a large swell in dog ownership. In fact, very, very few of the pet. What am I trying
Shelters?
to say? Yeah, the shelter. Thank you. I'm sorry, we needed that in the form of a question, please. What was a shelter? Thank you. The pet shelters, were many of them didn't have dogs.
Yeah,
I mean, which is obviously a nice problem to have, but they. People developed because they were home alone. And they developed. And now what's been very interesting is as people are returning to the workplace or being forced to return to the workplace,
right?
Companies are having to figure out what they're going to do now with these new relationships because the dogs really are part of the family.
Sure.
And people don't want to leave their dog at home now.
Right.
So,
are you finding more businesses?
Well, in one particular situation, I was just down there last week in Kansas City, that. American Century Investments, who actually does our NBC golf tournament out there in Tahoe every year. But they started a program of doggy daycare now. Yeah, which they allow you bring your dog, you drop your dog off, and you go to your desk, and you can see on your screen now a corner of your dog.
That's
socializing
cool.
with the other dogs.
That's great.
On your break periods, you can go over and walk your dog, and it's so it helps a little bit with the separation anxiety, both from the worker and the
vice versa,
and the dog, and it helps with employee motivation and morale and retention.
Yeah. I mean, it's like daycare for kids, literally. I mean, you need they're not quite to cat level where you can just here you go, we'll leave enough food for a couple of days and you're good to go. The dogs need a little bit more attention than that, and they do become members of the family. I mean, it almost wrecked a marriage with Sylvester Stallone.
You're right. It wasn't that yet when they finally revealed. They pulled the covers back and they revealed.
Yeah. I can see. We were talking about it on the air about what happens. And it's become a sort of a a subdivision of divorce law. The pet, the who gets custody, who gets ownership.
It's very difficult to divide that halfway down the middle.
Yeah, you take the part with the one eye.
By the way, just tickets are $16 for adults, $7 for kids, 4 to 11, and if they're under 3, they are free. It is this weekend. You can go to PhillyExpoCenter.com to get those tickets.
John, you mentioned the golf tournament in Tahoe. Have you ever called a golf tournament?
I did. And it was something NBC asked me to do years ago on the Champions Tour.
Because it seems like you would be a perfect fit for it.
Well, I had more fun. I said, look, first of all, you can't pay me enough to do it.
Oh, yeah.
I guaranteed that. And but secondly, I said, I'll do it. And so I did a few of them just for fun.
Yeah.
And I had the greatest time because when I had the telestrator in my hand, I was dangerous.
Not bad.
I was dangerous. I was circling Chichi Rodriguez's shirt and then circling his pants and say, these two things do not go together.
Preston got to play.
Or I'd stand there and I said, all right, this is 176 yards. Jimmy Collins is going to go for it, apparently. Par 3.
Preston was able to play Pine Valley this past year.
Oh.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You got the invitation.
I did get the invitation. And it was magical. It was pretty amazing.
How's your game? How's your golf game?
Oh, it's always in some stage of disrepair.
Right.
I have a habit of gripping the club like I'm trying to milk a bull moose, and a little tense.
Okay, all right.
Relax. We need to relax.
What's the best course you've played?
What's that?
What's the best course?
I played in the Dunhill Cup for many years over the old course in St. Andrews.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, that was wonderful. But I always go back to Pebble Beach. It's just something about, I'm a better person up there.
Right,
something about the barometric pressure or something. I don't know.
Gorgeous. That's unbelievable.
I had lunch there this spring, and I actually was invited to play. I'm not at all good at golf, so I declined that invitation. I didn't want to sully the course, but I was able to sit there in the dining room and look out over the. It's such tranquility. It's so beautiful. If you ever have a chance to go, I can't recommend it more.
The 18th hole is pretty.
It is.
And just that whole area of 17 Mile Drive. And then if you stretch out even farther, go down the coast to Big Sur, and it's really a magical area.
Yeah, it should be a national park. Big Sur in between Carmel and Santa Barbara. It's beautiful.
It really is really remarkable.
It's a lot like King of Prussia this time.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot.
I don't know if they have a Neiman Marcus there or not.
John was saying normally, and you have to tell this story. Your wife comes with you, and King of Prussia is a perfect place for you guys to stay because she's a shopper by nature, right?
Well, yes, but, of a professional grade. Yeah, she really is. She doesn't need the handicap. You know what I mean? She's a pro. She plays for the money.
She operates on her olfactory senses.
She'll. As I do say, she refers to Neiman Marcus as the mothership.
Right.
And she'll walk out. The first thing she does when she walks off a plane at an airport is goes, "They have one." You can tell right away. Just one sniff in the air.
How long have you been married?
Let's see, 18 years now, and all consecutively too.
Oh, really? Congratulations!
That's
You took the long term.
Personal record.
Yep. She dropped her standards, and
Do you guys travel together a lot?
we do. We try to. She's at a family wedding this weekend, so she's not here, unfortunately. But we try to as much as we can. But
Yeah.
it's difficult now. She has her own line of golf wear. A women's golf line, yeah. So it's quite
What's
remarkable.
the name of the product?
It's called Lola Sport, LOHLA Sport.
Okay.
LolaSport.com. Yeah, no, it's beautiful, beautiful stuff. And she has Annika Sorensen as her.
Whoa, wow.
That's the female Tiger Woods.
That's about as big as you can
It's
get.
wonderful. It really is. And not only that, we have an Indy car. I know.
Are you kidding?
We have an Indy car that has, and it's because one of the investors in the company is a huge race investor. So he has a
phenomenal.
car. So he has a car, and he says, "Darn it, we're putting the name of." So all the guys have the name of the pit crew. Has all guys, and they've all got the Lola Sport Racing Team.
Oh my goodness,
That's amazing.
Isn't that fun? Yeah.
It is. Are you at all a fan of the race world?
Well, I have become a big fan of it. This is our third year out there right now. We always manage to come in last place, and I don't know what it is, but
But I bet you look the best.
Our driver. Well, you know what I found out is that the person who gets the most publicity is the winner or the one who crashes first. And we were on the latter part of that. And we've always had, yep. So it was, but it was fun. It's a wonderful experience. Racing is. It's just a unique sport.
Yeah.
It's wild the career that you have and the places that it's taken you. I'm sure it kind of boggles your mind from time to time.
I have to kind of just think. When I was studying acting, that's all I wanted to be was an actor.
Yeah.
Walking up and down the streets of of Broadway there, just waiting for my chance, and to think of all of the different things from I compose. I've got 3 albums out, and I've got 3 books out, and hosting the dog show and a few other things that I've just been. It's been a remarkably interesting career.
Have you ever been sought after for doing somebody's Audible book?
I've done quite a few.
Yeah, okay. But I'm saying I'm assuming you'd be in high demand, but I assume somebody perhaps on a higher profile level might seek you out because you have a pedigree.
I have done a couple of books.
I mean, how long? I mean, obviously books are vary in length, but like generally, how long does that take?
Takes a long time. And they don't pay very much.
That's surprising. They feel like they should pay more.
They don't.
Well, people is not. People don't make a lot of money off publishing. Obama does because he gets a huge advance, but it doesn't. For the most part, it's not a large payday.
Did you do audible versions of your own books?
I did.
That you wrote? Okay.
Yeah, and not only that, the third book that I wrote is a children's book.
Okay.
Called The Perfect Dog, and I read it, and it's there on the back cover is the CD of the
audio
me
version?
reading it.
Okay.
Yeah, because people, what happened was, it's a very short book to read, and it's all pictorial, and it's people, when they finish, the child says, "Read it again." Well, now, because I've recorded it, you just put the CD in. Uncle Johnny reads it again to you.
Okay, well, I have a question about narration of books. If your voice is so distinctive, you have your own style. It's very recognizable immediately. Are you doing character voices when you will sometimes do the audio interpretations?
I do some animation.
Okay.
As as different characters.
Right.
Yeah. Because
But not when you're-
sometimes when you go in and you're doing your animation voice, they'll say, "Oh, would you also do this other character?"
Yes.
I'm like, I haven't come up with a voice for that character yet, but boy, you do pretty quickly.
Steve and I listen to a lot of audiobooks. I'm almost always listening to an audiobook, and there are a few actors that will play, say, in the Harry Potter character or in the Harry Potter universe, where they're playing dozens of characters, and it's amazing.
It is
an
amazing.
incredible talent.
You know who's great at Harry Shearer?
Harry
One
Shearer.
is brilliant at that. His voice just goes all over the place.
Well, he does so many characters in The Simpsons.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. I do. You know that cameo.com.
Yes.
I do a lot of
Oh,
those.
I'd
Well,
imagine.
I do a lot of the Peterman monologues that I have written. Actually, believe it or not, I wrote a whole bunch of them for Cameo because I need them for different occasions.
Right.
And, I even had one on some. Some guy wrote in, would you do this for this one guy, and it just because he has erectile dysfunction. Having a little trouble with the stiffy, are we?
That's great.
But it's funny. Cameo has become really.
Why not? You can connect to your fan base.
It gives new life to Peterman again. I mean, I go off on these tangents now that Or
I have to jump in because Nick, I'm sorry, but we're all aficionados or just adore the bloopers of shows, the outtakes of shows that we love, and I've told you before. The Peterman outtakes from Seinfeld. It's not you breaking character. It's you breaking up the other characters.
It's usually Julia.
Julie Louis-Dreyfus. There's one where you simply are asking the question to her, Elaine, why would you hire and it goes on, and I mean, it's like 20 minutes. She's trying mightily to regain her composure, and she cannot. Do you remember that in particular?
It's been. If you watch me, and I can see it on several of the reruns, where I can see my mouth turning, the corner of my mouth going, because some of these monologues were just so darn funny. I mean, it was just brilliant writing. Elaine, do you have any idea what happens to a butter-based frosting after 6 decades in a poorly ventilated British basement? I have a feeling that what you're about to go through will be punishment.
I think we've talked to you about Peterman a number of times, but I don't know if we ever found out how you got that role in the first place.
I had a sitcom on ABC up until the day before I started shooting. Yeah, it was called A Whole New Ball Game, and it was a very, very funny series with a really big all-star cast. Anyway, canceled on a Wednesday morning. They said, don't come to work, and so I went out to dinner that night with my manager, crying in my beer, trying to take the cancellation as personally as I possibly could.
Right.
And Larry David's office had called and said, well, we have this guest star role tomorrow. We're starting the new episode. It's perfect for John. He could chew it up and have a lot of fun with it. So I said to my manager, I said, tell him no. I said, I'm still licking my wounds off, getting canceled today.
Yeah.
So, but he didn't. He didn't call. Didn't call Larry David back.
Yeah.
And so we, it turned out the following morning he calls me and said, they're waiting for you over there at the read-through.
Oh, wow.
So I went and, had that not happened, I would have disappeared into a cultural vacuum.
Oh, wow.
I mean, you think about all of the things that really happened just from that one singular.
The ability to remain fluid is at least as important as any of the other.
I allow
abilities.
myself 24 hours to mourn anything, and by the following morning, I was over it. So it was
very cool. That's
Very lucky.
wild.
Good for you.
Yeah.
It led to that character. It's amazing.
Yeah, there he is up on the screen there.
Is that Corbin Burnson in this?
Yeah, Corbin's in there.
Stephen
Richard
Tobolowsky?
Kind, Stephen Tobolowsky was in it. Julia Campbell was in it. We had just a wonderful cast.
Richard Kind has become, I'm sorry to interrupt, a little bit of a friend of the show. We met him through Michael Giacchino. I love that guy.
Everything is like this.
Yes.
So let me tell you a Richard Kind story. We're out playing golf, and he was a terrible golfer when he started. So we're out on a par 3, and it's 175 yards. And he hits it could not have been more than 10 inches off the ground at any one moment of its trajectory. Hits the front of the green, rolls to the back, and goes in the hole. The son of a gun had a hole in one, and he'd only been playing golf for less than a year. He goes, oh, my my God, it went in. Oh, my God, it went did you? It went in the hole. And you know the way Richard talks. He's like that. And I said, well, that's wonderful. I said, you know, the tradition now, you have to buy everybody drinks there at the club. Don't tell anybody.
That's great. That's like him. That's him.
Yeah, that's
really.
exactly. Don't tell anybody. He's a funny man.
That's
funny
good.
man.
He is.
Lovely guy.
He recently was inducted into the Hall of Fame of Kathy's High School.
Yeah.
That's why we had him on last. He's a great guy. Wow.
A high school Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
A high school Hall of Fame.
Which Kathy is not in at this point.
not yet.
That needs to be rectified.
But we think that they kind of went through the A celebrities that they have that have graduated from the high school.
They'll eventually trickle down.
Yeah, maybe I'll be next year.
You're right. Because they're not producing famous people fast enough, are they?
So her odds get exponentially better.
It does. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the National Dog Show is taking place tomorrow and Saturday at the Philly Expo Center in Oaks, PA. Will be taped on NBC, and the 2-hour special will run on Thanksgiving Day. That's noon to 2, but you can go to the event. This weekend, tickets are just $16 for adults, and then there's cheaper tickets for kids. But and as John was saying, you can actually meet these dogs,
right?
And they're all there.
It's a wonderful interactive experience. I really recommend it as that every child should go to go to the dog show once just to see it. It's just an extraordinary experience for them.
Absolutely.
Good weekend to get out and do that. John, great to see you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
John O'Hurley, guys. PhillyExpoCenter.com to get your tickets to the event. We're going to take a break. We'll come back in just a moment. Stay with us.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
We are happy to pass along.
Get into the wood chipper.
Yeah. They start with its feet.
Oh, dear God! Make it stop!
You see its little animated head with its mouth gaping open, and it's the last to go in.
Branchy was the last tree
Branchy.
He was all dried up. Hardly anything left on him. But then Bill, the kindly owner, slowly fed him into a wood chipper.
If someone has the animation capabilities to turn that last little segment into a animated short, I would greatly appreciate that. Because I don't know about you guys, but I had a vision in my head of what that looked like. Branchy.
Does it look like your year this year, Branchy?
And it happened on, Christmas Day.
But I got you a surprise. A brand new Fuji wood chipper. Well, what am I going to do with this?
Oh, my God.
Just go to sleep.
All right, so I have another... Would you guys... So I have a story of a mathematician, and while I was thinking about it, is that really considered science?
Yeah.
I mean, it's used in science, but it's its own subject
Let's
as
take
well.
that angle. It's used in science.
The reason I bring this up is because Jacques Tits died.
Oh, my God.
The mathematician behind Tits Buildings, the Tits Alternative, the Tits Group, and the Tits Metric
Stop it. Yeah.
has passed away at 91.
Why'd you pick this story?
Well,
he's a
because he was an
mathematician.
important man.
Oh, all right. That's why.
Belgian-born mathematician Jacques Tits.
This is wild because he died in the same week Heinrich von Butthole died.
Oh, no. Oh, what a loss.
Who revolutionized calculus.
What a loss.
We lost Tits and Butthole in the same week.
I know.
Oh, my God.
What was his name?
Heinrich von Butthole.
Heinrich von Butthole. Well, Tits
Visionary, that guy.
Tits passed away on Sunday, leaving behind a legacy.
He's left an opening.
Why'd you pick this story?
Leaving behind a legacy of research in group theory and geometry. His tendency to name his contributions after himself suggests that he knew his tits' power. By the way, what is group theory? Because it sounds reminiscent of, well, no, that was governing dynamics, of the guy in Beautiful Mind.
Oh,
and I've forgotten his name.
Let's call him Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe, Miranda Otto, who is in the Lord of the Rings realm.
Preston, it's time to get up and to tell people of Philadelphia Miranda Otto's birthday is today.
Yes, I think it was in the third film. She plays a princess who disguises herself as a.
So she can fight.
Yes, as a soldier.
Is she not the daughter of the king as well?
I believe that is why she had to hide herself. Because
I have to see that movie again.
You do. They did really good.
How
with
did
you.
I come out?
You came out
Was
wonderful.
I good and heroic?
Of course you were.
Good.
You were eventually you were Gandalf the Grey, and then you became Gandalf the White, and
then Gandalf the Retired.
Everybody's
and
happy.
Finally Gandalf the Mobility Scooter.
She is 54 today. What?
Okay. I'm just looking at a picture of her. I know her.
Yeah, you know
I
her.
love her.
You know her, Casey?
Yeah, personally. She used to clean my house.
What the hell is happening?
I don't know. He's riffing. He's going.
I'm not riffing.
She really used to clean your house?
Yeah.
Damn. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild, man. You'd think she'd have some money from Lord of the Rings.
Well, no. I mean, she used to. Now
Right.
she's,
She's fallen on hard times.
meteoric rise.
Word has it that she gives handies for fivers.
It was tenor for me.
I wish.
Very popular in the Shire.
Well, the conversion from pounds to dollars.
Okay. Miranda Otto is 54, and she gives handies for $5.
Oh man.
Yep.
Kristen Ritter has a birthday today. It's a big one for her. She's 40 years old, so a milestone birthday for her.
When we laugh at stuff like that exchange has just occurred, is a good portion of that laugh the knowledge that we're in the Broadcasting Hall of Fame?
Oh, yeah.
That's the level that got us into the Hall of Fame.
It is. This gentleman is announcing his retirement.
Yes.
And we were all just jumping in going, oh, my God, I can't believe it. You know, and it went on and on and on.
It felt like a tectonic shift.
It did. And but the news is being broken now, and we're going to ease into whatever emotions we may have with this gentleman hanging up.
It's like that joke where they say, when the guy says, your mother died. You can't just tell me the news like that. You got to tell me, your mother was on the roof. And,
Right, yeah. He's into
you have
this
to
a little
parse
bit.
it out a bit.
So he's easing into it, and we're sad to hear the news, but looking forward to seeing him for at least the next year.
Yes.
So let's get him on now. Ladies and gentlemen, over 40 years he's been at this. Please welcome Jim Gardner from the 680 on the show. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, guys.
Hey, well, you know what? Listen, I'm gonna start with saying congratulations to you because retirement is something that I think should be celebrated. When somebody is ready to go ahead and put the career to rest, it's obviously people are not going to be happy about the fact that you're leaving, but still, I think it should be celebrated. You know.
Well, yes, I absolutely agree, and yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to a different life experience, but I've got another year or another 14 months at Channel 6, and I look forward to every day. So it's a bit of a strange experience because there was, a lot of talk yesterday and a lot of emotions yesterday, but meanwhile, I've got another year and
right,
yeah.
On the 6 o'clock news. So, what is it that we're really talking about?
Is that by design to let us, your viewers, down in an easy way, or is this for yourself?
No, yes, it's a way, that I can sort of transition to, a different situation. To tell you the truth, back in 2009, Dave Roberts retired from Channel 6, and this is how he did it. And I remember very clearly that he was working on the 6 o'clock news. He was taking the 11 o'clock news off. So when this whole thing came up a year or so ago with our general manager Bernie Brzezinski, I reverted back to I call it the Dave Roberts model. And I thought it worked very well for Dave. And I think it worked very well for Channel 6. And it was a sort of an easy or a graceful transition that I think benefited both the station and Dave.
It makes complete sense. And I think, obviously, the station is going to want to do things. The city, I'm sure, will want to do things in acknowledgement of this. I think this is a perfect way to do it. You were very sweet in your commentary last night, announcing it. And there is something that happens to people who have schedules, as have we, that are off the 9 to 5 rail. And and you were saying you have had certain things in your life, or have not had certain things in your life for 4+ decades that are quite common for a lot of people. And I thought that was a sweet way to frame it. And I was nodding to my wife because she puts up with an askew schedule, and that it was very very sweet the way you phrased everything.
You're very kind. Yeah, I mean, I look forward to that. I'm not complaining that I haven't had it for 46, 47 years, but it is an opportunity for me to experience a more normal rhythm, of life, and to be able to linger over dinner with my wife, would be something I haven't really experienced in my lifetime. And it's something I look forward to.
Jim, can I ask how you approached your team members, your 11 o'clock team members, Cecily and Deuces and the like, and did you call everybody together, or did you do an individual meeting with each?
I didn't, although they've known about it for some time.
Okay.
We've had conversation about that, so it was no surprise to them.
Okay.
But I sent a memo to the staff yesterday, shortly before the station announced that there would be this pullback and a year from now a retirement. I wanted to be the one to just let the staff know that this was happening. Not that I felt that it was such a big deal that I was leaving, but there was going to be a substantial change, and I thought that it was appropriate for everybody to hear it from me. And so I wrote this memo, and shortly thereafter, the station made the announcement. And, today we've got news to cover.
That's the way you approach it, yes.
Jim, this is Nick. We've had an opportunity to chat a couple times about travel that you've had over the last few years when you've come down to Camp Out, and thank you for being a part of Camp Out over the last few years. I'm curious as to what's on top of your bucket list once you have retired of where you're going to go. What are you going to see that you haven't been able to get to yet?
That's interesting. My wife and I were just talking about going on a tour of Scandinavia. My son is taking his second semester of his junior year in he's in college, and he's taking his second semester in Copenhagen. So we're going to go to visit him at some point, but it's still going to be chilly there. So I think we're going to put off a tour, until it gets warmer and there is a more leisurely opportunity to really take in that part of the world. So that seems to be number one on our bucket list, and there'll be many more to follow, I believe.
Jim, I was curious if your timing of this, of you finally hanging it up, was so you wouldn't have to go through another election cycle again.
Well, it's funny you say that, because this was supposed to end a number of years ago, actually, and there were two extensions. I asked Bernie if it would be all right if I could extend a couple of times, and not the last time, but the time before that was so that I could be here for the last election cycle. And I wanted to very much be present during the Trump phenomenon. I just thought it was an extraordinarily compelling
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
Brought to you this morning by Zane Western Apparel. Stop by the Black Friday sale at Zane Western Apparel and Work Gear in Piles Grove, New Jersey. November 23rd through the 27th, online at zanewestern.com. So I still had more animal stories left over.
Wow.
Believe it or not.
Look at you.
Yeah. Two men who allegedly broke into the Omega Animal Park in Montebello, Quebec, and killed 3 wild bears and an elk are facing several criminal charges. Essentially, they went into a zoo and started killing animals.
To me, that's cheating.
Yeah, right?
If you're hunting that way.
Yeah. One of the men was released.
It's like killing bears in a zoo.
The other held in custody. A Park Omega employee called police and reported seeing a vehicle illegally enter the site. The employee also said that she heard noises, possibly gunshots. Police arrested two men,
insane.
42 and 21 years old, in a vehicle in which 4 animal carcasses were discovered, 3 wild boars and an elk. Firearms were also found, and in a statement issued on Monday afternoon, the park confirmed that 4 of its animals were killed. They were taken into custody and will appear in court on Friday.
Scum.
Experts are hurriedly searching for a very unfashionable shark that was spotted roaming the waters while wearing a woman's skirt.
What?
Okay.
Although the image
How
of
do I look at this?
Although the image of the shark,
Believe it or not, Kathy Romano is tracking me.
dressed up in a skirt, proved amusing.
I just want to look good for her.
But marine biologists are desperate to find the ocean-going predator as it is in risk of dying. On closer inspection of the images, it appears that the shark is actually being choked out by the apparel, with the woman's skirt forming a makeshift noose that's blocking the gills of the sea creature. A statement released by the Department of Environment said, we are doing our best to locate and assist him, but so far we have been unsuccessful.
I hope they're able to do it.
Although the size of the shark was not revealed, it is known that a nurse shark, it was a nurse shark they
I'm
identified.
looking for a blouse.
Can grow, and it's a nurse shark. It's a first responder. They need to find
come
this.
on.
And they can grow up to 12 feet and are harmless and not aggressive, but will bite if they are provoked. All right, that's my last animal story. Just had a couple left over from the all animal bizarre file in the first one. A human foot found in August at Yellowstone National Park's Abyss Pool in Wyoming in the West Thumb Geyser Basin belonged to Il-Hun Rowe, a 70-year-old man from Los Angeles, California, Rangers confirmed.
I can't find my foot.
The identification...
He's dead, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The identification...
I was playing blackjack. I'm sitting at the table. I'm like, I missing a foot.
The
Yellowstone.
Identification was made within the last 3 weeks thanks to DNA analysis. In August, park staff discovered a part of a foot in a shoe floating in the Abyss Pool.
And they didn't know where it came from.
Yellowstone law enforcement...
It's like the worst version of Cinderella ever.
Officers estimated that the incident, which had no witnesses, happened in...
Are these your feet?
July 31st, and that no foul play was involved. Due to a lack of evidence, though, officials are not able to determine the circumstances which led to Rowe's death.
But they think like he essentially evaporated, right? Like he was boiled to death and the body was disappeared.
I guess so. The Abyss Pool has a depth of more than 50 feet, and it's one of the deepest hot springs in the park. The temperature is approximately 140 degrees Fahrenheit.
That'll cook up a foot.
To prevent injury and death, the NPS warns visitors, of course, stay on boardwalks.
The bear population hangs around with pot stickers.
In trails, in terminal areas, and exercise extreme caution around thermal features. They give them fondue for us.
You're going to want to hang out here.
You gonna have that foot?
Yeah. Some redneck will be through in a few minutes. Watch him. He'll do a cannonball, I guarantee you.
Now, speaking of feet, Guinness, now we move on to our foot stories. Guinness World Records announced Tanya Herbert of Houston, Texas, now has the title of largest feet on a living female after her right foot had measured 13.03 inches long and left foot measured 12.79 inches long. Herbert is 6 foot 9 inches tall, and she wears a women's size 18 shoe.
What do you wear, Kathy?
Not an 18. I wear 7.
So an 18.
I don't wear an 18.
It would be equivalent to like close to a 17 in men's shoes.
Jesus.
Depending on the brand.
Do they list the largest man's foot in that article?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's in Yellowstone.
She is
There's a family canoeing in it.
3 inches shorter than the tallest living woman. Herbert says she shops for shoes online. By the way, the guy who used to have the largest feet in the world used to be a bouncer in Westchester.
Yeah. Bigfoot.
Yeah. And he was in
Big Fish.
He was in Big Fish.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was in the movie Big Fish.
Right. He wasn't in a Big Fish.
No, in a Big Fish. Accidentally leaving your smartphone behind at home is one thing, but leaving it at an airport shortly before you board to a flight is another. Now, a Southwest Airlines passenger found themselves in this unfortunate predicament after forgetting their phone in a gate area at Long Beach Airport in Los Angeles. By the time a customer taking a separate flight spotted it and notified the crew, boarding had already finished. The aircraft had already been pushed back. However, Staff on the ground quickly worked together to ensure that the phone was safely returned to its owner. In a video that was shared by Southwest Airlines, a pilot is seen leaning out of the cockpit window in a bid to retrieve it from ramp workers on the ground. So they're
throwing it up,
and they're jumping up.
Oh wow!
As the guy's hanging way out the window and trying to get it, and eventually the pilot was able to grab it from somebody. And the passenger who had discovered the phone had been chatting to the owner shortly beforehand, so it was able to let the crew know that the flight they were traveling on. And when the operations agents realized the flight in question was already fully boarded, they got in touch with the captain.
It's pretty miraculous.
Immediately suggested the ramp agents on the ground try to jump up the phone to him so he could get it, and it was all captured on video. It was actually pretty cool.
Should I be a little alarmed by the fact that you can retract those windows? And I would assume that just by the sheer nature of what you're having to deal with, that those would be fixed permanently.
I don't know. I don't know if all of them are or certain,
Are there screens?
models or what, but nonetheless.
Windshield wipers on those things?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe so, yeah. All right, and there you go. That is, what I have in the bizarre file for today and for your week, friend. All right, let us take a quick break, come back in a second, and we will see how closely you've been paying attention. Of course, we're going to do our lesson question. We'll get to the trash, we'll get to the music news, those things coming up next. Stay with us.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
Netflix plus Hulu.
You know, you can say what you want about your personal feelings or your political preferences, but from a journalistic standpoint, obviously the whole Trump era, and who knows if it's over or not, has been just extraordinarily compelling, and I wanted to take part in that.
Okay.
And then the second extension was, in the formative stages of the pandemic, and I just felt very strongly that I wanted to be here for that story. It was, and continues to be a unique story that really covers every facet of, our human endeavor. It's on one level, it's very personal. On another level, it's very societal. We go from a story of people's fears and anxieties, fears about their own health, and whether they're going to escape the fate of hundreds of thousands of their countrymen. And on the other hand, it's, an extraordinary public health story. It's a story where people are hoping that this economic crisis doesn't affect them. People have lost their jobs. People have, suffered real economic dislocation. On the other hand, it is an extraordinary economic story on a national and worldwide level. So, there's so many different aspects to it that really touch all of our lives, and I just wanted to be here for that. And, the story continues to unfold.
There's a scene in the great the Patty Chayefsky movie Network where the William Holden is talking about his plans, and he goes he's gonna I'm gonna write a book. He goes, everybody writes a book. But I honestly would say I would love to read a book about your life. Yeah. If you, if that's in the works, you talk about being a political junkie. I am as well. And, I'd love to, get some insight over your many decades dealing with everything as it has progressed.
Well, you may have to wait a while.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
Just include a lot of pictures because I'm not very smart.
It's funny. I had a very, very nice email from Bob Iger, who's the former CEO of the Disney company. He's still, I think, chairman of the board, and he was very, very generous with some of the things he said. But I recall talking to him at a Disney dinner in New York, and it was shortly after wrote his book, which was very, very good and very informative, and I really enjoyed writing it. But I had the occasion to say, "Hey, I read your book." He said, "Here's some advice, Jim. Never write a book." He said it was easily one of the most difficult and arduous tasks of my life. And my advice to you would be, don't do it.
Okay.
So,
Well, we don't want to cause undue stress. If it's something that floats your boat later on, yes, so you would definitely, I would definitely purchase a copy. That's all I'm saying. I also want to say, and we were talking about this earlier, is that, listen, the same way we have Pierre Robert here at the station, who is an icon in rock radio. And
his 40th year is this month.
And you know, we were saying you are... There is, having lived in different markets, there is none smoother than you and more competent on the air. I mean, you're
the best I've ever seen.
The best we've ever seen.
Yeah,
so
and he's the standard that I hold everybody else up to. So
Right.
whenever I travel to another city and I'm in that hotel and I turn on the local newscast, I'm like, not Jim Gardner.
ain't happening.
Nope.
Yeah. So does that create an extra onus and weight on you as you depart, or is it, you know, how do you? Or, I assume you're not walking around with the "I'm number one" T-shirt on and all that stuff. So how do you process all this?
It's. I have always thought that 85-90% of my job takes place in the newsroom, not in the studio, and I've always felt very strongly about that. I think probably there are some people in this business who see it the other way around, where they identify most of their their work and what they're being paid for is the actual newscast.
Yeah.
And that may well be. I've just never identified things that way. I work very closely with producers, and I'm very, very engaged. Some would say too engaged in the evolution of every newscast. And so what happens in the studio is almost like putting a period at the end of a task that to me takes place elsewhere. I have never thought that I was, and I'm not, being falsely humble. I've never thought that I was particularly skilled as an on-air anchor person. I've never spent much time trying to cultivate, a presence, a personality. I just read the news.
Yeah.
And maybe that serves me well. I don't know, but I've often, or most often, thought that my work in the studio was left a lot to be desired, and certainly wasn't as developed as my work in the newsroom. So, if you guys think that I've done a good job in that part of my job, then I'm grateful, but I've never seen it that way.
Right.
Oh, I absolutely, and I think part of what it is, I absolutely think that, but I think it's your delivery and the comfort that you give to your viewers. Whatever, is happening in this world and whatever your, information that you're imparting to us, it's you deliver it in a way that makes us feel comfortable and that it's going to be okay. I mean, at least that's what I experienced when I watched Jim.
I appreciate that. That's terrific, and I'm glad that you feel that way. It's never my intention to make a news story more comforting than it deserves to be. Unfortunately, or whatever, the reality is that we're talking in the news business mostly about difficult subjects.
Yes.
And
yes.
Oftentimes, unpleasant stories. And I don't know that it's an anchorman's job to reach out and hold the hand of an audience to make them feel better. But if there's a certain, what I think it is, and forgive me, I'm perhaps making conclusions here that I have no right to make. But I think if an anchor person has a sense of empathy, in addition to, being a reasonably smart man or woman and having good writing skills and being ultimately, curious. I think if an anchor person has empathy, that really comes through.
Yes.
And I think I do. I think I'm an empathic person. I think my friends and my family would say I'm an empathic person. So if that comes through, I'm really glad about that. And you know, if it brings some people comfort, that's terrific.
Well, it's not even up for debate. It obviously has all of the things that you might not see, we see, and that's what's made it work for so long. And you talk about something, you're bringing up something. There was a book from an author, Cheryl Atkinson, who used to be a CBS reporter and investigative reporter, and she writes a lot about the news industry. And she's sort of echoing what you said, that the sort of inclination now to make the news giver the news and the star and personality is not what people really want. It might be here's a gimmick, but she recounted a story of, I forget what station she was at, and the lead anchor, his wife had twins, and the news director said, if I hear anything about this on the air, I will go out of my mind. We're not the story. The news is the story. And I think your reticence to you know, as you said, not over to be a Pollyanna with the news, but also not to falsely terrify the viewers is what served you so well, and it's why you are so revered in this industry.
I really don't know what to say about that.
I know we're throwing a lot of compliments at you, Jim, but yeah.
Yeah, when you use words like revered and stuff like that, it's, you know, it makes me feel kind of awkward.
I got you.
Well, you're going to have to deal with it.
Don't worry, I'll make you feel even more.
You got
awkward,
a
Jim.
year of it.
Jim, this is Casey here, and so if I can just offer you a little bit of advice over the next year and month or so, if you could just, on a personal level, move closer to the world, my friend, and just take a little bit of time.
93.3 WMMR, the Black Crows. Brings hard to handle. 5 minutes after 10, and it's Friday morning. So we got Word of the Week prize to give away in a little bit, and then Pierre will help us out, and then of course brings you all the Friday glory that he adds to this radio station.
He gets in here, especially on Friday, the time we come in.
Right.
And he goes into his lab to concoct what he calls the most entertaining show of his week.
What he does.
Yeah.
It's the most entertaining show.
Bunsen burners and all that stuff in there. I don't know what he's doing.
Mr. Entertainment.
Yeah.
Actually, it's what we call him around here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so.
We tried the Sultan of SWAT, but that made no sense.
No, there's no swatting involved. Whatsoever. And I think Babe Ruth.
Yes, right.
Too, so we couldn't take that. But anyhow, he'll be along in a little while. In the meantime, we're going to test your knowledge of today's program. We have a lesson question. We are going to give away today a pair of tickets to see Home Alone live. It is they're actually performing, you'll watch the film, and the Philadelphia Orchestra is going to be performing John Williams' score, and it will be at Verizon Hall on November 25th, I think. Let me see if anybody remembers this. Casey wasn't affluent growing up, but his and his family weren't exactly which kind of people as well, I guess. Steve had referred to Casey's family as people of what? All right, let's do that. I think that's it. Do you remember this, Casey?
No.
Oh, I loved it. Casey wasn't affluent growing up, but his and his family weren't exactly which kind of people that Steve referred to earlier. All right. People of the what? 215. I don't know why I found that so funny. 215-263-WMMR. Let's see if you know the answer. Call now.
The trash business is a gold mine. 93.3 WMMR with Preston and Steve's Hollywood Trash.
Brought to you by Family and Company Jewelers. Planning on getting engaged? Go see Angelo and the team at Family and Company Jewelers. You can get her the perfect engagement ring. A ring from Family and Company. South Jersey's diamond destination. What's happening this morning, Steve?
Well, Melissa Joan Hart is reacting to rumors online that she's in some sort of feud with Lena Dunham. Hart says she loves Dunham and often enjoys riding the trails of Santa Barbara on her back.
Oh, my God.
Hey! Constance Wu, who is currently starring in the stage play 222, A Ghost Story, says she's had many encounters with ghosts. Wu says she's always been the kind of person who is sensitive to ghosts because she's insane.
Oh,
my God.
And finally, Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton going on the record saying she considers Mariah Carey to be the queen of Christmas. Carrie returned the compliment saying, quote, "People don't realize that it's pure class that's filling up Dolly's big floppy jugs." It's Hollywood trash.
All right, we got to see if somebody knows the answer to this. Casey wasn't affluent growing up, and he and his family weren't exactly which other kind of people either. And we will go to Steve to see if we can get the answer. Hey, Steve, good morning.
Hey, what's up? Sorry to bother you guys at work.
No, man, it could get you an answer here. It could get you a prize for the correct answer. So Casey wasn't affluent growing up, but he and his family weren't exactly which kind of people either.
They were people of the dirt.
People of the dirt, yes. Hang on. We're going to give you, as a prize, a pair of tickets to see Home Alone, featuring renowned composer John Williams' charming and delightful score.
I think that'd be sweet.
Performed live to picture by the Philadelphia Orchestra at Verizon Hall this November 25th. Holiday fun for the entire family. Tickets for all three shows, November 25th through the 27th, are on sale at philork.org.
Now, Preston and Steve's Music News on 93.3 WMMR.
That's her way of saying no sad, bro.
Right.
This morning, Music News brought to you by Horizon Services. Ensure your heater works safely as the holidays approach. Horizon Services Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing are going to service your heater for $79 and do a free carbon monoxide check. You can book fast at horizonezbook.com. A couple of artists putting out new music today. 5 years after Feed the Machine, Nickelback is back today with its 10th studio album. It's called Get Rollin'. The 11-song set was produced by the band with longtime collaborator Chris Baseford and was preceded by the single San Quentin, which is the quartet's 20th top 10 single on the Billboard Mainstream Rock Tracks chart.
And as we said yesterday, Chad donated money to the Camp Out for Hunger.
He did. Chad Kroger, by the way, who wrote and co-wrote all the songs, said that Get Rollin' was put together gradually at different writing and recording sessions rather than in one fell swoop. He said, at no point in time did we say, let's make an album. It was like, well, might as well go into the studio again. And there wasn't this concerted effort to make an album. It was just creativity sort of creeping along. And before we knew it, we had enough songs for an album. And we sort of looked around and said, well, there's a body of work here. We should probably think about releasing a record.
There are definitely stages in a band's, trajectory or creative trajectory where a lot of it is born out of I have something to say. And maybe less so later on. You pick your moments.
Have you guys heard this song at all?
I have not.
All right. I haven't heard it at all. I mean, we have it if you want to give it a little listen.
San Quentin, go ahead. Yeah, that's right. Skinny little missy, those days, high time, Vegas bomb, tidal wave. Does heaven even know you're missing? Steel still rust, horizon, standing in the dark, and just one more is the track listing on that. Now, also today is Divisive, the 8th studio album from Disturbed. The 10-song set is the follow-up to 2018's Evolution, which at number 4 in the Billboard 200 is at number 4 in the Billboard 200. Disturbed recorded the album during February in Nashville with new producer Drew Folk, who's previously worked with Papa Roach, Motionless in White, Pop Evil, We Came as Romans, and others. And it has been advanced by the singles Hey You, Unstoppable, and earlier this week, Bad Man. Which one is this, Case?
This is Hey You.
This is Hey You.
Hey You.
Divisive also features... and Muse are headlining the list of artists who are now eligible for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2023. Alongside,
We just got done with one.
well, I know, but this is now it's 25 years
All right.
officially, so they can now be considered for it.
Okay.
Alongside rapper Missy Elliott, artists become eligible after 25 years after their debut release, which
When will
means all newcomers will have dropped their first album in 1997.
When will the River Valley Vocal Band become eligible? Because when do we?
I forgot what
20
year that
years.
was.
Yeah.
So, according to Ultimate Classic Rock, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame usually announces their nominees in the beginning of February, so fans are going to have to wait a few months to see if any of the artists that are now eligible will make it. And those include Limp Bizkit, and then listen to all these other artists. They're just, I'm Will Smith, Black Eyed Peas, Sia, Destiny's Child, P. Diddy. Now, this is the person who wrote this article.
Yeah.
Who just says that those groups now have the
They're not,
ability.
under consideration.
So, anyway. And then finally, a career-spanning documentary on the life and times of Ronnie James Dio will be premiering on Showtime and the Showtime app next month. The film, titled Dio, Dreamers Never Die, is executive produced by Dio's widow and longtime manager, Wendy Dio, and has been authorized by his estate. The documentary premieres on December 1st. Wendy spoke about her first time seeing the film and said, when they put the film together and we had a private screening for me, it was my first chance to see all the bits put together, and it was very bittersweet. I broke down and cried, and it was just exactly how I wanted Ronnie to be portrayed. They had done such a magnificent job, and that was just really, really, well, after all of the hard work we put into it, it was like, whoa, I think the fans are absolutely going to love it.
Are his parents Leo and Cleo Dio in it?
I'm sorry?
Are his parents Leo and Cleo Dio?
Leo and Cleo Dio? No, they're not.
They do have Jack Black.
But his brother Theo is
Theo Dio.
Theo! Yes.
Leo!
I love the whole sort of reverential Dio treatment, especially like in Pick of Destiny and everything. Yeah, the guy is pretty badass.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
I do agree with you. And that and he was a big part of that movement.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I'd like to mention also the, again, we have the latest Daily Rush video, which is out and available. It is the Camp Out the Gang versus Meltdown. Casey, Nick, Marissa, and Kyle get slapped around with a giant swinging appendage, and it's not as sexy as it sounds. You can be the first to see the newest Daily Rush by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and it's sponsored by Xfinity's Gig Speed Internet. Learn more at Xfinity.com. It was so fun.
It's really like they look like they're being beaten up by a dinosaur. Like
Yep. You guys got manhandled. That is a piece of that apparatus is a machine. All right. And then finally, we've got some tickets to give away. The band Snack Time is performing tonight.
Tonight.
I got tickets for this, and we can take, I'll just take the first 6 callers who would like to go to see Snack Time. They played our Food Trucks and Fireworks event. They were a blast, man. It was so cool. And they're also going to be joined by Johnny Showcase and a band who I think is pronounced is Threeses. I'm not really sure. I guess it's a play on Jesus. But
there's 3 of them.
It's spelled THR, the letter 3, the letter 3.
I wouldn't have even noticed.
The number 3 and ZUS.
Maybe it's like the Holy Trinity.
Yeah, maybe.
Jesus.
And it's going to be a night of dancing and released inhibition. Some tickets remain at the venue. It says at venue.tlaphilly.com.
BDS caller.
All right. And you can call now to win the ticket. So we'll take 6 callers, 215-263-WMMR. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back in a second, wrapping this thing up. Stay with us.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
The new and improved MMR app is out.
Let me say one thing, by the way. This is very important. Casey.
Okay. Yeah.
The man who hired me at Channel 6 said the smartest thing someone can do in this industry who is looking, to get a good start in their profession is to work for a good television station and to work for a successful television station. I have been blessed to have had the opportunity to work for, as far as I'm concerned, the best television station in America, to work with colleagues who are unfailingly devoted to their craft, who have been competent, who have been insistent on being fair, being right, who have really paid so much attention to the little things that become enormously important. They have made me much better, seem much better than I am over the years. I have been the luckiest guy in this industry. People, focus on the man or woman who is sitting at the anchor desk reading the news, and the fact is that our most important job is to represent the hundreds of people whose work and toil and devotion go into every newscast. I've had, even right now, my 6 o'clock producer, Jamie Shore, my 11 o'clock producer, Laura Mamarella, our executive producers, Matt Dennis, people like this who the public never gets to know. They're brilliant. They're devoted. They are devoted not just to the task, but to the industry and to the constant effort to make Channel 6 not just a good news station, but a good member of this community, a good citizen. And we're very proud of that. And I am not just proud of my work, and I am, but I am proud to have been a member of an effort on the part of hundreds of people over the course of the decades. And I've heard from a lot of these my former colleagues over the last 24 hours. It has been great to touch base with people whom I haven't talked to or had communications with for a number of years, and it just brings to my mind that if a television station is successful, it's because it has had great leadership over the course of time, and it has had people of great character and people of great motivation, in addition to the fact that they're really good at their jobs. And, I've been the beneficiary of all of that. And
I'm sure they would say the same of
the
you.
luckiest guy.
Yeah.
I'm the luckiest guy in this business. I really am. I feel that way, and it's absolutely true.
Well, we can relate. I'm sorry to jump in.
No,
Steve,
absolutely. Go ahead.
But as you were describing that about 6 ABC, WPVI, that's how we feel about WMMR. It's
Yes.
the same thing. It's a wonderful environment and a blessing to be able to say that.
You guys would understand
Yeah.
better than anyone else I could be talking to. Absolutely.
You know what, Jim? I'll say this, and I look forward to that in your time after the news desk, where I can finally see you at a Sixers game being ejected for overly razzing the opposing team.
In my younger life, that happened all the time.
Oh, really?
So, Jim, for Camp Out for Hunger 2022, you'll be on the edge of retirement at that point.
yeah.
You can really do whatever you want. We got the can drop. We'll bring back the chili cannon. We can do a stunt, whatever you want.
His nights will be open.
You'll
Yeah.
be free. So if you a year from now, just put that on your calendar.
Hey, you started in radio a bit, so we're welcoming you back.
Hey, I was the guy who, set fire to my colleague's newscast, while he was reading it on the radio. I'm sure all of you guys have had that experience. And that was the 24-year-old Jim Gordon.
We love that.
Jim, I know that you are a huge Sixers fan. Have you had the opportunity to ring the bell before a game yet?
They asked me to do it last year, and it was much fun. And apparently, this whole situation over the last day or so has prompted them to think that maybe it would be a good idea to do it again.
Hell, I'd put you on the team.
I'm looking forward to it. It was so much fun, and if it happens again this year, that'll be great.
Excellent.
Probably going to be a done deal on that one.
Well, Jim, we hated to hear the news, but we are happy for you, and we're happy the way that you're choosing to do this. So we get a year to spend and mull this over. So I'm sure we'll have another conversation with you down the road a bit as we get closer and reminiscing a little bit more. But we just wanted to say thank you and also say congratulations to you, and we just appreciate you so much. So thanks for coming on this morning.
You guys are great. Thanks for having me, and we'll see you for campout, right?
You got it. Absolutely. Excellent. All right, thank you, Jim Gardner, everyone. There you go. Something else, man. Impossible Foods is now bringing more to the table. This time it's plant-based chicken nuggets.
I've had them.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, you have? Because so have I, and they were the most disgusting things I've ever eaten in my life.
Well, then I've had different. So Hip City Veg has the best chicken nuggets I've ever tasted, and there's no chicken.
Okay, so this was sort of like, it looked like it was dark meat, but it wasn't meat. It was plant-based, and it had like a breading around it. It looked really good, and I was like, oh, I'll try this.
Right. Not
I was
good.
like, what is this? What is this texture? What am I eating?
So they use
plant or
seitan.
not?
I guess it is seitan, right? The often used for chicken substitute.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, and the Satan actually cooks them.
Wait till you try this.
But they're Casey. They're excellent. We actually put them out at a party.
Yeah.
And people had no idea.
So we have a vegetarian living in my house. My oldest is now a vegetarian, more pescatarian, but we have a lot of Impossible meat in our house now.
Right.
And we do the Impossible ground beef a lot, and it's damn good. You know,
I love it.
Yeah, my wife will make.
And Preston's right in the. It's not exactly. But the taste I like.
Yeah,
I like
good.
the Impossible taste.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily taste exactly like beef or pork or whatever it is they're trying to simulate, but whatever it tastes like tastes good to me.
Yeah, and when you're making things like nachos, like my wife will make nachos for the household, and she'll crumple up the Impossible burger meat or whatever on there. You can't tell the difference.
Dude.
Not when it's got the cheese and the salsa and everything else with it.
I'm telling you, that Impossible cheesesteak from Wilson's
Unbelievable.
was fantastic.
Unbelievable.
I couldn't stop eating it. It was excellent.
Get me the biggest cheesesteak fan in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Sit them down and give them one of those.
And don't say, all right, tell me if this tastes like meat.
Right.
Just say, eat this, and does it taste good?
Yeah.
That's the difference. So somebody who is, a hardcore meat eater might say, this ain't no meat or whatever. No, just set that aside. Does it taste good or not? Okay. And because that cheesesteak at Wilson's Secret Sauce is fantastic.
And what was the ingredient?
Loved it.
Was it seitan?
No, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't
think
know.
he uses Beyond or Impossible.
I'm not sure exactly what he uses.
I
You'd
think
have
it's
to ask him.
Impossible.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at what I had, and this restaurant changed, right? It was one healthier restaurant to the next, and they had chicken on it, and so they were called chicken. They were called chicken strips. Well, now they're just called strips, and so I ordered that thinking I was getting the chicken, and then realized, but it says plant-based, so it's a plant-based strip. It doesn't say exactly what's in it, but I'm assuming it's similar to what you're
I
talking
want
about.
plant-based strips, Mommy.
So Impossible Foods is describing this as having a golden, crispy breadcrumb. Oh my God! I can't believe I said that. That's all right.
Yeah, I'm interested in your chicken strips.
Stop it.
What's that special ingredient again?
It's a little
breadcrumb.
Do you guys buy that? Because I just made some.
Of course. It is 10:28. We are done. We have found the weekend, and it will be along for you shortly, too. Hopefully this is the end of your day, but if it's just the beginning, hang in there. You'll make it through, and next thing you know, we'll be having a couple of days off, relaxing, and after that, it's Thanksgiving.
Yes!
I can't believe that's next week. I'm like zero prepared for that. But I mean, fortunately, you don't have to go crazy. I mean, we ordered our turkey and everything last week.
Yeah.
We never got to the connoisseur today.
Oh,
no.
I had all kinds of turkey.
Well, it's still applicable next week.
Yeah, Thanksgiving.
We'll bring it up.
Maybe I have to do it on Monday.
Yeah, just to get people to jump on it.
To get ready for
I got a turkey story I can share with you next week.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Okay.
It's the night before turkey.
Turkey Tales.
Turkey Tales with Nick McElwain.
I don't have any turkey story.
You have
No?
faux turkey.
You're right. Nobody asked, and I don't give an S anyway.
Kathy,
Case,
is Perky the turkey coming?
Literally, I was waiting for Pierre to finish his sentence to ask you what the name of the creature that comes the night before Thanksgiving. I forgot the name. I did find what was the thing?
Cornucopia.
Yep, the cornucopia basket that he left last year.
Perky
the turkey?
No, Perky the quirky turkey, but just Perky the turkey. He comes and gets the kids ready for Christmas.
Yes,
He's
right.
officially the the start of the Christmas season.
Oh, wow.
turkey.
Who else is coming soon? Who's going to come on 4th of July night?
Fart the ferret.
Yeah.
It's possible there's one too many characters at this point.
Might be.
We need to consolidate a little bit.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway,
turkey.
I want to thank our guest. Ian Fidance was on.
Yes, he was great.
Ian is local, funny as hell, super nice guy. He's going to be at Punchline Philly tonight and tomorrow night. And John O'Hurley was great.
He's great.
He is hosting the National Dog Show this weekend. And it's at the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center in Oaks. And it's taking place Saturday and Sunday. And John's great, man.
Yeah.
He was so funny.
He's just
a
the
nice
voice.
guy.
He's got a warped sense of humor, but that presentation is so regal that you can't help but laugh.
Yep, exactly. So it was a good day today. And Pierre, you ready for the letter?
Yes, I am.
All right, here we go.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
Now, the Daily Letter.
All right, the President and Steve Show is brought to you today by the letter
T is in turbulent.
All right, and we should now have a word, and we'll take caller number 4, 215-263 WMMR. See if you know that 4-letter word from this for the Word of the Week prize. So we're counting on you. Give us a call right about now. Everything good with you?
Right about now. Things so funky. Right about now.
My
funk soul brother.
My funk's so funky. Right about now.
His funk is
the
so-
junk is junky. Right
Okay.
about now. Who does that song?
Fat Boy
Fat
Slim.
Boy
That was
Slim.
him, yeah.
Okay.
It's a great song.
It is a great song. I like it. I don't know the words, obviously, but I like it.
Yeah.
It's not a lot of words. Right
Couldn't tell.
about now.
Right
My
about
funk
now.
soul brothers.
My
Get out
funk's
now.
so funky is what I always sing when I hear it. Anyway, so on the program today, was that what you were going to ask?
No, that's how you were doing.
Oh,
That's all.
fine, thanks.
Pretty good. That was the original question.
I'm just trying to keep the car on the road.
Yes, that's
You're
it.
doing
You're
a
the
terrible
stabilizing.
job.
I know, you're absolutely right. I hit 7 potholes.
Yeah, the rumble strips.
Yeah, 7 potholes, and I have had 4 flat tires, not just from the parking lot to here.
You got an open beer in one hand and your foot's up on the dash.
Exactly. I'm effed up.
Casey had a flat tire lesson, and a listener stopped and helped him.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
so nice.
Yeah.
That is lovely.
Thank you,
Because,
Christian.
newer cars tend to not have spares now.
It's true.
Yeah,
nowadays.
mine
A lot of them don't have spare tires.
And I don't understand that. Of course, I changed a tire once.
Really?
My friend, I didn't have any money, and I was sleeping in friends' couches, and my friend loaned me his Mercury S22. It was about a 1964 rust brown Mercury, and I came out from whatever couch I was sleeping on that night, and the tire was flat. And I said, I've seen people do this. I could do this. And I opened up the trunk, and there's a jack.
Yeah.
And I went to the jacking area and
Started
lifted the
jacking.
thing up. Well,
Did you get the jack off?
And then I undid the little nut things around the wheel, and I took the old one off, and there was a spare, and I put the old one on, and I put the gadgets back on, and I lowered the thing down, and I felt as butch as I have ever felt.
There you
and
go.
I go, man, I could apply to be a mechanic. And then it was in a little town I grew up in outside of San Francisco, and then I'm driving downtown, just feeling very proud of myself, driving along, and I happen to glance over to the left, and there's my tire rolling alongside me. And it was like a cartoon where they go off the edge of the cliff and they hold for just a moment and then they fall. And I looked over, and the tire is rolling along on the little street next to me, and then I went and it fell to the side and went.
Oh my God!
It was perfect.
Yeah,
it
but for
sounds
that
perfect.
brief moment, you were great.
Yeah. AAA, it's my next gig.
Yeah.
On the program today, we will have a pair of tickets for live. They're at Parks Casino tonight, and that'll be cool. Audio Slave released their self-titled album 20 years ago today. We got a block of them, got a block of the Hooters. The tickets just, I think, went on sale for their shows. Am I missing something?
Oh, wait. Let me turn on your mic.
I think you just said you have tickets for live.
Did I say that?
You do.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't have any tickets for live.
You don't have any tickets for live. You have
I have tickets for the Hooters.
Correct.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And this is why we have helpers.
Yes.
I don't have any tickets for live, but they're
Why would you
playing,
even think that?
and I'm sure it's going to be a fine show. I will have tickets for the Hooters and Audio Slave, and that's that.
Nice. So you do have tickets, just not for live.
Ray John.
Ray John. All right. We'll
Listen,
go to
listen later for not tickets for live.
And I'll have also tips on how to change your oil.
We're going to go to the fourth caller, and it's Angel or Angel. Angel, how do you say your name?
It's Angel.
Angel. Hi, Angel. All right, Angel, we need the word of the week, please.
It is rust.
Carburetor!
Rust is correct, Angel. Angel, hang on the line. Because you just got a $500 gift card from Joseph Anthony Retreat Spa and Salon. Hang on a moment. It's the gift that you cannot go wrong with this
Christmas.
Is a gift card from Joseph Anthony Retreat Spa and Salon. You can visit any of their 3 locations in Glen Mills, Springfield, or Center City, or you can purchase online at josephanthony.com. Your true retreat from the everyday. Thank you to our sponsors. Preston and Steve Show is brought to you today by Dunkin'. The Preston and Steve Show runs on Dunkin'. Also by Acme Markets Fresh Foods, local flavors, and by Trinity Rehab, with locations all over and now open in King of Prussia, trinity-rehab.com. Next week on our program, we will talk to Michael and Kevin Bacon, the Bacon brothers. Yes. We'll also have Peter Billingsley.
Nice.
From A Christmas Story Christmas. Our buddy Big J. Okerson is going to be stopping by.
Excellent.
And this just in, we'll have Nick's turkey story.
Yes. Oh, my. Tune in.
Yes, that is it. We are done. Rage on. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you later, gang. Bye-bye.